All right, what's going on, everybody? It is fight day. We are here live, and we're going to break this fight down. We're going to give some picks for this fight. I'm going to give you my opinion on how to bet this fight, what I think is going to happen, and I'm sure some may agree and some may disagree. But let's get this started. So the big thing here, and the big narrative that's going on with this fight is Tank's got more experience. Tank's got the bigger power. Tank's gonna get to him, and when he does get to him, right, it's going to be all she wrote. It's going to be over, right? No question, Tank has power. No question, overall, Tank has more experience. No question that Tank is probably the bigger puncher, but I think it's very closely comparable. I don't think it's that wide of a difference. But what I do think is Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. Sometimes when you're on the outside looking in and you don't see the two guys in the ring together, right? It's hard to gauge this, but I do think Ryan Garcia is the quicker guy with his hands and with his feet. And he definitely throws more punches. I think he throws more combinations. I think Tank obviously is more economical with his shots. You got one guy who throws roughly close to 50 punches around, 50 or so. You got another guy who's throwing 30 punches around. Now, Tank's claim to fame is, you could say he's more accurate, places the shots very well, and it doesn't really matter that he doesn't throw a lot of shots. But if you look at recent fights, we're seeing Tank losing rounds and be behind on scorecards, and then having that one big shot bail him out in the fight. And it was a close call with Isaac Cruz. I thought Tank edged that fight out 115 to 113. A lot of people had that fight a draw. If you look at the average fan scorecard in that fight, fans had it a draw. The general consensus on that fight was it was a draw. A lot of the professional judges who scored that fight after, they had that fight a draw. But again, this is this fight. And we're going to talk about how these two guys match up against each other, right? Now, a lot of times people, when they compare resumes, obviously you're going to look at the overall body of work. But when breaking down a matchup, what I think is more appropriate to do is I like to look at the guy's last 5 fights, 5, 6 fights maybe, and I compare how he did in those last 5 or 6 fights, as and I'm going to look at to make my decision and kind of break down how I feel the guy is going to perform in the upcoming fight that he's going into, in other words. So I like to go back 5 fights. I'm not going to sit there and talk about what happened 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I know a lot of fans love to do that. Oh, well, what about when he did this? What about when he did that? Again, I think it's more relevant to just go back 5 or 6 fights, right? When I was a manager and I used to hire people, I didn't care about what they did 10 years ago. I was looking at what they did their last job, or maybe the job before that. So I'm looking at recent history here. I'm not worried about what he did at 130. I'm worried about what he did at 135. And if I'm being honest, in my opinion, I think Ryan, his resume is slightly better than Tank's at 135, in my opinion. And that's a big opinion here. It's very arguable. And I've said this, and I've said it several times, that I believe Luke Campbell is better than anyone Tank Davis has fought at lightweight. I think Luke Campbell would beat any of the guys that Tank Davis fought at lightweight. It's just my opinion. I think the best guy he fought at lightweight was Isaac Cruz. And Isaac Cruz is a solid fighter, but I just don't think he's as good as Luke Campbell. I don't think he's as crafty. I don't think he's as well-rounded. Luke Campbell is a tall southpaw, very slick, former gold medalist, fought for the title twice. And I do think that the fight with Linares could have gone either way, right? I thought it was a razor close decision by Linares. I also think that he held his own against Lomachenko, scored that fight 8-4 for Lomachenko. Lomachenko clearly won the fight, but there was some rough spots for Lomachenko in that fight. I thought Campbell did some good work in there. Nevertheless, it wasn't good enough. And that was against a prime Lomachenko, and he went 12 rounds with Lomachenko. And Ryan Garcia knocked him out in 7. Now, a lot of people are pointing to the fact that, oh, well, Luke Campbell knocked Ryan Garcia down, right? So what if Tank lands that shot? And that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, right? Very simplistic way of looking at it because, as Ryan said, the punch is coming from a taller guy, different range. If you go back and watch and you saw how Luke Campbell landed that shot, obviously he's tall, he's got a 71-inch reach. Tank has like a 66 or 67-inch reach. Big difference there, right? Tank's shorter, so the punch is coming up. It's not coming, it's not coming at the same height level, right? So it's a different trajectory altogether. So I don't think that's a fair comparison. But let's break down how that punch landed. Luke Campbell landed a nice jab to the body, kind of caused Ryan Garcia to drop his hands a little bit. And he looped the left hand over the top of Garcia's gloves. And if you notice, Garcia was kind of pulling back and the punch didn't catch him head on. And Garcia was a bit squared at that point, obviously made that mistake. But again, that was a beautifully set up punch. It wasn't like, Garcia made a huge mistake there. Obviously, he made a mistake. He got caught slipping. But once again, Luke Campbell set the punch up beautifully. And after that knockdown, Garcia got up, made the adjustments, was able to kind of gauge the distance a little bit better, didn't fall for the feints, right? Started picking up on the feints, started picking up on the changing of levels of the jab, and he adapted to the fight. And from there on, I thought he dominated it. Got a very impressive 7th round stoppage. So he overcame adversity. We've never seen Tank overcome adversity, right? So for me in this fight, like I said, I'm comparing what they did at lightweight. I don't care what Tank did at 130, right? And if I look at the lightweight resume, we're going to break it down. We're going to look at the last 5 or 6 fights, right? So we'll take Ryan's last 6 fights in comparison to Tank's. So Javier Fortuna, you can say what you want about him, probably wasn't at his best, but this is a guy who was fought at 135, fought at 140. So, he fought him at 140, right? And it was it was a good performance. I thought for Ryan Garcia fighting against a guy in Javier Fortuna may not have been at his best, but it's a solid fighter, right? He's had some good wins over his career, but again, that's a guy who's a true 135 pounder, and he's a true 140 pounder. And I thought Ryan Garcia put on a great performance and got that 6th round knockout. I thought the fight would have been a little bit more challenging for Ryan Garcia, but it really wasn't, right? So then you have him against Emmanuel Tagoe, right? Was another guy, right? Only had 1 loss in his career. Not a world beater, but an okay guy, right? An okay guy. And Ryan went 12 rounds with him, right? And it was an uneventful performance, but again, Ryan didn't lose a round. Tagoe was knocked down in round 2. It's kind of a survival type performance from Tagoe. But again, it's the fighter's job to kind of decode that, right? And then now we have the Luke Campbell fight, which I think is Ryan Garcia's best win. And I thought that was a very impressive performance from Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia. But I thought Ryan Garcia made the adjustments and got the job done, as I said earlier. Now, Francisco Fonseca was a guy moving up to 135. He's basically a career 130 pounder. So this is the only guy who really was coming up to fight Ryan Garcia, right? And Ryan Garcia dispatched him in 1 round. And when Tank fought him in a title defense at 130, this is the title defense that Tank blew weight, came in at 132. Tank went 8 rounds with him, and he struggled a bit. And you can argue maybe it was because of the weight issues, but whatever. This is a common opponent that they have. Ryan Garcia knocked him out in 1, took Tank 8 rounds. Romero Duno, another guy, 21-1, but not a world beater, right? But, decent guy. So if you look at Tank's fights, right? Look at these fights. We got Hector Luis Garcia, very solid fighter. But this is a guy, right? 130 moving up to 135. I believe this was his first fight at 135, if I'm not mistaken. And even he had some moments against Tank. He was winning some rounds. I thought Tank was up at the time of the stoppage, but the fight was competitive up until that point, in my opinion. Once again, Rolly Romero, with all due respect, not a world beater, right? Not a world beater. But he was winning rounds against Tank before he got stopped, right? So there's kind of a common theme going on here where guys are hanging in there with Tank. Sometimes they're close, or they're either up on the scorecard before they get stopped. Isaac Cruz, another solid guy. Not many people, thought that this fight was going to be as competitive as it was. I didn't think it was going to be as competitive as it was. I scored this fight 115 and 113, as I said earlier, but a lot of people had it a draw. And before this fight, no one really thought Isaac Cruz was at this level. A lot of people probably thought he was a solid fighter, but they didn't think he was as good as what was shown in the Tank fight. So you have to ask yourself, was Isaac Cruz really that good, or is Tank maybe a tad bit overrated? Great question, right? But another smaller guy, but once again, a career lightweight. Mario Barrios, we all know Tank fought him at 140. No catch weight, no rehydration clause, 71-inch reach. We saw how Barrios gave Tank problems, particularly from the outside, right? Not as quick as Ryan, doesn't hit as hard as Ryan, in my opinion, right? But many people had him up on the scorecards before he got stopped. So he went 11 rounds with Mario Barrios, went 12 rounds with Isaac Cruz, right? And in his last 2 fights, Tank got a 9th-round stoppage against a much smaller Hector Luis Garcia, and he got a 6th-round stoppage against Rolly Romero, who many people have questioned his overall skill set, right? And then you go back to Leo Santa Cruz, right? This is a guy, again, fighting at 130, right? Guy who's basically a featherweight, but this fight was for the 130-pound title and Tank's regular lightweight title at the time. But again, this was a fight, surprisingly, not to me, but a lot of people, how competitive this was before the stoppage. I actually had Cruz up in this fight, right? I had Cruz up in this fight. But once again, Tank lands that counter shot, gets the job done. So again, there's this common theme of Tank really being competitive with all these guys before the fight is being stopped, right? So we're seeing Tank lose rounds, be economical, start slow in a lot of these fights. But the power has always seemed to bail him out. And the one time the power didn't bail him out in the Isaac Cruz fight, he narrowly got by, right? So this is the common theme. And this is just, you can argue against this, but this is just my opinion on the whole situation. Then you got Yuriorkis Gamboa, who was stopped in the 12th round. He was down in rounds 2, 8, and 12. But this was a fight that Gamboa, obviously way past his prime, an older guy, right? But he was landing combinations against Tank. He was actually busting Tank's face up a little bit, but Tank got the knockout in the 12th round. It took him 12 rounds to knock out Gamboa, who was past his prime. Really isn't a true lightweight, in my opinion. His claim to fame was mostly at 126, a little bit at 130, but another smaller guy, kind of moving up a little bit. And he was past his prime, in my opinion, and was actually injured in the fight, torn Achilles tendon, but still managed to go 12 rounds. But to Tank's credit, he knocked him down three, in rounds 2, 8, and 12. But it was a performance where I think Tank was a little bit off. So as I said, in my opinion, both resumes at lightweight are very comparable, and I would argue that Garcia may have a slight edge in resume based off of that Luke Campbell win, because I'm pretty high on Luke Campbell. I think he's retired now, but I thought he was a great fighter, just below that championship level, in my opinion. Right. So how does this fight play out? Well, Eric and I did a comparison, and we kind of did like that video game type analysis on who has edges in specific categories. I thought that Ryan had the edge in speed. Eric agreed. We gave Tank the edge in power, although we both agreed it was comparable. Now, boxing skills, that's a subjective thing, right? Eric and I, when we look at boxing skills, we like to look at the versatility of a fighter. Who can do more things? And with all due respect, Tank is primarily, in my opinion, and I think Eric agreed with me on this one, he's primarily a counterpuncher, right? Where Ryan can box well from the outside. He can also be a counterpuncher, and he has respectable inside fighting capabilities as well. We see him land that short left hook on the inside to the body, and that little 45 uppercut type punch as well, right? So you can argue what Tank does, he does exceptionally well, but then you can argue that what Ryan does, he can do a little bit more things. He's effective in more areas, So I think overall, Ryan is the better outside fighter. You can argue Tank's a better counterpuncher, but Tank, to me, is a more of a mid-range guy, where Ryan can fight a little bit on the inside in the mid-range, but obviously his best bet in this fight is to control the distance from the outside. But he's more than capable of holding his own, in my opinion, on the inside and in the mid-range, right? So I think there's a more of a versatility thing in Ryan's favor here with Tank, but you can argue that the things Tank does well are more than enough to overcome the versatility and the wide array of skills from Ryan Garcia. So once again, that's a very interesting debate. But overall, Eric and I agreed that we thought that Ryan could do more things, and we edged him in the boxing skills department, right? Boxing IQ, I gave it to Tank because, again, that's experience, right? He's been in more fights. I think he's a little bit more crafty. He's really good at setting traps. But once again, Ryan is no slouch in that department either. He knows how to set traps. He knows how to be cagey in there as well. But I gave it to Tank because of the experience. He's got more fights, whatever. Now, the X factor, I think, is Ryan's overall size. And it's a twofold advantage, in my opinion. I think naturally that's going to be an advantage because I think he knows how to use his dimensions. It's one thing being big, but if you're big for nothing, what good is it? Ryan's not big for nothing. Ryan fights tall. Ryan gets full extension on his punches. He throws straight punches. He throws looping shots when need be. So once again, that's a versatility thing in Ryan's favor. Tank tends to have a loop to most of his punches, and Ryan does throw straighter shots. So the guy who's got the longer arms and throws the straighter shots, his shots are going to get there first. It's the law of physics. It's basic, right? Basic thing, right? So the X factor is Ryan's size. And when I say that's twofold, I honestly believe that Tank is really focused on this, right? He's really concerned with this, in my opinion. You can argue that he's not. I think he is, right? Because that's been the common theme in this fight. And then everyone's saying, well, why is Ryan bringing up size? Why does he keep saying it? Because every time he brings it up, look at the reaction he's getting from Tank and his team. It pisses them off. They get frustrated. And then at the weigh-in, Tank's going out of his way to say, "Oh, well, you didn't get to eat, blah, 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 blah." Like he's so hell-bent on draining this guy. Why is the size such a concern for Tank Davis? In my opinion, I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to answer that in my opinion, is because the guy it's not only that he has a size advantage, he also has respectable, close enough power, very, very close to Tank's, in my opinion, right? I'm going to edge Tank in that area, but it is close. But I think the big difference is when you got someone that big who's also fast, that's double trouble right there. That's double trouble. Barrios doesn't have the speed of Ryan Garcia. So the size wasn't a big thing. A lot of times when guys move up and fight the bigger guys, like Roy Jones moves up and fights John Ruiz, right? See Sugar Ray Leonard move up, fight Marvin Hagler, right? All these guys that generally move up to the bigger weight classes, it's usually because they feel as though they have a skill advantage and they have a speed advantage, and they're going to offset the size. Tank's looking at this fight and saying, well, damn, this guy can fight a bit too. This guy's big, but he's also quick, right? So it's not just that the guy's bigger than me. He has the attributes to go along with that size that can give me problems. You see what I'm saying? This is not rocket science here. This is not hard to figure out. You don't have to be Inspector Clouseau to put this together, man. I'm not here to insult any fighter, question any fighter's heart, their what's inside them, their intestinal fortitude, their manhood, whatever. But once again, if I'm looking at a situation, right, I gotta call it for what it is. And you can't tell me, well, you can tell me anything you want, but you can't tell me, right, and argue in good faith, make a good faith argument that you do not believe Tank is not concerned with this guy's size, or there would not be this boatload of stipulations in this fight. It's that simple. There would not be this many stipulations in this fight if Tank was not concerned with Ryan's size. Now, once again, we're going to go to another point where people may say, why, don't buy into this. This is all just psychological bullshit. You're looking too deep into it. Well, sometimes I do that, right? And I'm going to do it again here. I just don't think Tank is comfortable. Has not looked comfortable throughout this whole promotion of this fight. He's looked nervous. He's looked agitated. He's looked irritated. And Ryan is in his head, in my opinion, and has been in his head throughout this whole promotion, right? Throughout this whole promotion, in my opinion, right? He is killing these press conferences. And again, Beeb, who gives a shit about that? What the fuck does that matter? Well, I'm not the only guy to say this. Bernard Hopkins, Andre Ward, many great fighters have said, Floyd Mayweather, the fight starts before the first bell rings, right? Tyson Fury, another guy, Muhammad Ali, all these guys have used psychological warfare in their careers to their advantage. So why can't Ryan Garcia do the same thing? And I think it's working. So you can argue that Tank has more experience, Tank's got more power, Tank's going to get to him early. But my question is, what if he doesn't get to him? Or excuse me, Tank's going to give away the early rounds and then later he's going to catch up to him. But what if that doesn't happen? Seems like everyone's betting on Tank's power, right? And every time we do that, there's always going to be that one time where the power doesn't bail the fighter out. And what happens next, right? What happens next? I think both guys are going to fight a very tactical fight, right? This is not going to be Hagler Hearns, in my opinion, right? It's not going to be Hagler Hearns, in my opinion. This may be a little bit more of Hagler Leonard, right? This could be Hagler Leonard, right? And Ryan Garcia could be the Sugar Ray Leonard, in my opinion. And Gervonta Davis, with all due respect, could be the Marvin Hagler in this fight. And what happened in that fight? You saw Sugar Ray Leonard play the mind games during that fight. You saw him fight from the outside. You saw Hagler try to come forward and get close, right? But he couldn't. And every time he got close, Ray Leonard grabbed him, right? Held him for a second, spun around and released him, and started all over. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Pop, 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 pop from the outside. Little flurries, right? And all you saw Hagler coming forward with smoke coming out of his ears, smoke coming out of his nose. And I love Marvin Hagler. I love Ray Leonard too. Ray Leonard, full disclosure, is my favorite fighter. I had Ray Leonard winning that fight 115 and 113. Do not think that fight was a robbery. But when you look at the difference in the output, how many more punches were thrown, who dictated the terms of that fight, in my opinion, it was Ray Leonard. And I also believe that Ryan Garcia is going to dictate the terms in this fight. Ryan Garcia is going to fight this fight from the outside. He's going to control this fight with his jab, right? Tank is going to try to set traps. I think Ryan Garcia is just going to keep poking and pecking away, and he's not going to take the bait, right? People talk about the chin in the air. I think that's a little bit overstated. I think people feel as though that's like a huge mistake from Ryan Garcia. I get it. All right, you may not like that, but I think Ryan Garcia pulls back away from shots. He's not leaning into shots. He's pulling back away. And Mike Tyson made a great point about Tank Davis. Compared him to himself. This is a guy who leaps in and sometimes literally comes off his feet to land these shots. And there's always a little bit of a loop to these shots, right? As Teddy Atlas likes to say, these shots are a little fat. Ryan Garcia's are more straight. And when Ryan Garcia does throw those arcing punches, right? It's more of a 45, right? It's not a wide telegraphed looping shot. It's more of a 45-degree angle type thing from the inside, right? It's more of a 45-degree angle, right? It's not that I'm going to pull back and loop, right? It's not a winging shot. It's elbows tight, boom, right? The right hand straighter. Chin still up a little bit, not as much, right? Pulling away from shots, right? Got a guy who's going to leap in, got a guy who's pulling back. Once again, law of physics, right? He could make the mistake and maybe lean forward, but from what I've seen, that's not what he does. He's not going to lean in like Mario Barrios, right? He's not going to bend, get low and lean forward like Mario Barrios. This is a dude who fights tall, fights straight up. Bop, bop, bop. Chin may be a little bit high, but he's pulling back. Bop, bop, bop. And you got the other guy with the smoke coming out of his ears, smoke coming out of his nose. When the guy does not take the bait, right? When the guy drops that line in the water, right? What happens when you go fishing? What happens when you go fishing, right? Drop the line in the water, and you're in that specific area in the lake or wherever you are, lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. Drop that line in the water, and the fish ain't biting. What do? Start getting pissed off. Start getting frustrated. You start arguing with the guy in the boat with you. What the fuck are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? And what happens? You got to move the boat. So once Ryan Garcia doesn't take the bait, and Tank has to relocate that boat to try to set that fishing line out there And he gets a little frustrated and desperate, and the smoke starts coming out of his ears, the smoke starts coming out of his nose, and he starts leaping in with those shots, because that's going to happen late in this fight. That's going to happen late in this fight, when Tank is frustrated in the mid to late rounds, because he's sitting there waiting. While he's waiting, bop, 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 ba-da-da-da-da, bop, bop, ba-da-da-da-da, bop. When that starts happening, then guess what Tank's going to start doing? Like Mike Tyson said, this guy loves to leap forward, likes to jump in with them shots. And when that happens, guess what happens? Bop, bop. And that's what's going to happen, guys. I mean, I respect Tank's chin. I think he's a durable guy. I don't think Ryan's going to go over the top with taking chances in this fight. I don't think either guy's going to really gamble a ton, but I do think there's going to be moments in this fight where you see Tank get frustrated because he's not going to be able to get close, right? You got the taller guy. When Tank does get a little bit close, you got a taller guy who's going to probably lean over the top of him. It's going to wear him out a little bit, and it's going to be frustrating. To me, this is going to be a very, 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 very frustrating night for Tank, right? We've seen him get frustrated. He looked like he was getting frustrated in that Barrios fight, right? Like he was getting frustrated in that Barrios fight. You know, credit to him. He eked out that decision against Isaac Cruz, but he was getting frustrated in that fight too. But once again, this is a guy, Isaac Cruz was 5'6", doesn't have the ability to go pop, pop, pop from the outside. This is a guy who coming right into the kitchen with you. He's fighting your fight, man. He's fighting your fight. But guess what? You may have to try and fight Ryan's fight here. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. So Ryan, I'm seeing odds everywhere. I was at the casino with my buddy last night. He bet the fight. He took Ryan. He got a plus 186. This was at the Encore Casino with the win bet. Go to the window, win bet. My man, he doesn't like to use apps. He likes the he's like that old timer who don't use an ATM card. He likes to go into the bank and get the money out. So he likes to go to the window. I bet it on the on FanDuel. I got a plus 215 with Ryan. Ryan by decision is a plus 650 on FanDuel. But if you go to DraftKings, they have a special on this fight. You can get Ryan at a plus 80 by decision, right? You can get him at a plus 80 by decision, right? So my play, this is what I'm recommending. I like Ryan big in this fight. Call me crazy. Everyone thinks that Tank's going to kill Ryan, the whole experience thing, but I urge and encourage everyone. Look at the last 5 or 6 fights. Look at the resume. You got one guy who's fought his whole career at lightweight, minus 2 fights at junior welterweight, versus a guy in Tank, right, who really has the frame of a 130-pounder, but with all due respect, does not have the discipline to make 130 pounds. So he's at 135 pounds by default because he does not have the discipline, in my opinion, with all due respect. I know how hard it is to train and be a fighter, but when I look at Tank's body, right, I know it's not a bodybuilding contest. I have to concede the point that he is pudgy. He's a pudgy guy at 135, right? When I look at a guy who's got a pudgy body and his face is all dry, right, at a weigh-in, I agree with Bernard Hopkins. Skin didn't look great. And you can see one guy at the press conference all irritable and grumpy and stuttering. Another guy is like snapping off lines like he's Dave Chappelle on a Netflix special. You got one guy snapping off lines like he's Dave Chappelle on a Netflix special, and you got another guy frustrated, stuttering, right? I'm just seeing a different energy, man. I'm just seeing a different energy. I'm being honest. Bro. I'm seeing a different energy from that camp. I'm seeing a lot of frustration, not just from Ryan, not just from Tank, but from Calvin Ford as well. What kind of game plan is it, right? And I know you can just say, I know you say this is just for promotion, but what kind of game plan is it? Oh, we don't want to knock him out. We want to punish him. Come on, man. And I'm going to say this. Only one guy has a history of not making weight. One guy had to step on the scale twice to make weight at 135, right? Maybe they miscalculated here. Maybe this rehydration clause can actually backfire on them, right? Maybe this rehydration clause can actually backfire on them. I'm gonna be honest. Ryan looked great at that weigh-in. He didn't look flat. Muscles look full, right? Didn't look flat. Muscles look full. Skin looked great. Once again, not a beauty contest, but again, we look at these things. That's what we do here, right? We make our picks, our analysis. This is what we do on here. This is what we do. Every little bit makes a difference at this level. Every little bit makes a difference at this level. JC said, "Beeb, why do you think Brian didn't bring up Tank's criminal case and other stuff?" I'm going to tell you something about Ryan Garcia. And again, I don't know the guy personally, but I'm just going to give you my opinion on the type of guy he is, man. He don't move like that, man. You know, we all have opinions on these guys, right? I don't like Tank, but I respect the fuck out of his boxing game. Anyone that gets in that ring trains. I'm not a boxer, but I tried to be a boxer, right? It was a time when I tried, right? Did some lower level tournaments, and I know how hard it is, man. Even at that lower level, and I would consider myself a scrub. I was barely average, right? Whenever I tried to train with guys, there's guys like Richie LeMontagne, Stephen LeMontagne. Richie LeMontagne was a pro. Stephen LeMontagne was an open class. I get in there with them, and it was a different ball game, man. Different ball game. So I'm not here to call any fighter or insult any fighter. As a person, I'm just going to keep it 100. I do not like Tank. I don't like him. Straight up. Tank's a great fighter, man. Right? A lot of people like to crap on fighters. I look at a fighter and compare him to his contemporaries. Right? There's 10,000 registered boxers in the world, man. 10,000. And if you're at the top, even in the top 10 of that, right, that says something. So I compare fighters to their contemporaries. When I compare Anthony Joshua, I make a comparison and give my opinion on Anthony Joshua. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a top 3 or 4 heavyweight in the world, even with all of this recent situation going on, with him, right? Even with all the recent stuff, people can say, maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. But even with that, he's still a good fighter. Again, there's like 1,500 to 2,000 heavyweights registered in the world. And if you're in the top 5, top 3, top 4, top 10, top 20, you are still somebody. You're still somebody. Imagine graduating in the top 5, top 10 in your class, right? In college. That's an accomplishment. Now, it's not the same as being the valedictorian. It's not the same as being the number 1 or number 2 or number 3, but you are still in a respectable position. So I'm not here to say Tank is this, that, and the third. Do I like him as a person? No. But the dude can fight, right? But the notion that Ryan Garcia is just a TikToker, a YouTuber, are you guys, and again, you can have whatever opinion you want. Guys can say whatever you want about me, right? I don't give a fuck, right? I'm not here to go back and forth with people and insult people, and I'm not doing that no more, man. I'm gonna be 54 years old this year, man. That shit is done. That shit is done. We're not going backwards now. We're going forwards. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that Ryan Garcia is Jake Paul, right? That Ryan Garcia is KSI, right? I'm just not fucking buying that, bro. I'm not. I'm not. Ask Devin Haney about Ryan Garcia, right? Ask other fighters about Ryan Garcia. Talk to his contemporaries. Ask Shane Mosley. You don't have to like him. You don't even have to think you don't have to think he's at Tank's level. But if you're gonna sit here and tell me that Ryan Garcia is Logan Paul, Jake Paul, or KSI, I am not fucking buying that. That is a gross mischaracterization of Ryan Garcia. So if that's what you expect, that you're going to see in that ring tonight, right? That's what you expect that you're going to see in that ring tonight. If you think that Tank is going to be here and Ryan Garcia is going to be down here, I guarantee you, you are going to be pleasantly surprised tonight. That's my opinion. So my advice tonight, I think Ryan Garcia wins this fight. I think he wins this fight by unanimous decision, but there is that chance that he could catch Tank, right? So I'm just betting. I bet Ryan Garcia to win straight up, and I put a little something on him to win by decision. I got the plus 215 for him to win straight up, right? And I got the plus 800 for him to win by decision. Those are my two bets. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. That's what I'm advising. A lot of people are saying this is a 50-50 fight, but in the same sentence, they're saying it's a 50-50 fight, but they're all picking Tank to win by knockout. Right? They're all picking Tank to win by knockout. Fair enough. Fair enough. Most boxing experts or so-called experts, most fighters are picking Tank, right? But most boxing experts and most fighters picked Joe Joyce last week, right? They picked Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz, right? They picked Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury twice, right? This is the year of upsets, right? We saw Fondora get knocked out recently. Saw Akhmadaliev, right, lose a decision recently. Sometimes the odds makers got it wrong, and these odds are narrowing. All right, Garcia is there's some action now on Garcia. I'm glad I got the bet in early. Right, I'm glad I got the different websites now. I'm glad that gambling's finally legal in Massachusetts. I'm happy about that. Right, so I feel as though I've got some good odds here. So yeah, I'm picking Ryan Garcia to win this fight by unanimous decision. That's how I see it. Drop the link in here if anyone wants to jump on. Anyone's got an opinion on this fight. Anyone wants to talk about this fight. Anyone wants to kind of question what I said. Guys can jump in. Guys can jump in the line. Jump in here and give me your opinion on this fight. But I like Ryan Garcia by unanimous decision. I do think there will be an amount of respect between the two fighters. And I think this is going to be a very entertaining fight, but I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be Gotti versus Ward, in my opinion. I just don't see it. So yeah, I'm going with Ryan Garcia tonight by unanimous decision. I think this fight goes the full 12, and I like Ryan Garcia in this fight. All right, guys. If no one wants to jump on, I'm gonna sign off, man. I'm thinking about maybe going live. I haven't done a live fight cast tonight. Thinking about doing that tonight. We'll see. But okay, we got Jacob Sims here. Let me see what this guy says. What's up, brother? What's going on?
How you doing, Beeb?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man. I wanted to say first off, I'm a big fan of the channel. You know what I'm saying? I've been rocking with you for a couple years. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
Big
that.
fan of you, man. But I do want to
Appreciate
say, I, I completely disagree with your assessment of the fight, especially of Tank and Ryan as fighters. You know what I mean?
it. Okay.
Ryan is a bit more versatile than Tank, uh, and I really can't see that. You know what I mean?
All right.
You said that Tank Ryan has some skills on the inside, but as far as I'm concerned, I've really never seen Ryan really fight on the inside for any period of time, no matter how much film I try to watch. In my opinion, I consider Tank to be what I would call a complete fighter. You know, a fighter that can do anything in the ring, a fighter that's at least very skilled at most, if not all, aspects of boxing. I think that Ryan is a bit more limited in his approach to the square to the sweet science. And I'm not saying your opinion is wrong or anything. I just want to start a dialogue.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, can I ask you a quick question? When Ryan Garcia knocked out Luke Campbell with the left hook to the body, was that delivered from the outside or the inside?
What did you say, babe?
I said when Ryan Garcia knocked out Luke Campbell with that left hook to the body, was that punch delivered from the inside or from the outside?
Nearest I can remember, I believe it was delivered from the mid range.
I would argue that it was delivered in close range.
Because he was
Now, what we're going to
famous
do,
to the head, right?
yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up and we'll see. Kenny, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
What's up, Beebs? Hey, Beebs, what about the copyright issue? Are you all right?
With the knockout?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why? Because this is going to be an analysis of it. So you can use this. This will be a fair use because we're gonna assess it and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna critique it. So this will be a fair use. Let me see if we can
Fingers
find
crossed.
this. This is the fair use clause. We've already had the legal team look at it. We got authorization to be able to show this clip.
Because there might be some people who might report you. You know who they are, Beebs.
Yeah, a lot of people are try to report the Beeb, but they don't realize we have the legal team on our side. Yeah. See, Campbell.
It's education.
For educational purposes. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I'm going to look at this and let me see. Okay. So now we're going to share this. Okay. So everyone sees where this is. Now let's take a look. So let's see where this from what range this body shot is delivered in.
Beebs, that's an unbelievable shot. That's a shot that
let's see where he is. Where boom, to me that's an inside shot, man. I don't know. You tell me, is that a mid range or is that it's inside?
Mid range.
That's an inside shot.
Started after mid range.
I think that's an. I think it started in the mid range, but ended up in the up close. So it's not where it starts from; it's where it ends, in my opinion. I mean, you could disagree. I'm not the end all be all. Boom, that was close. See what the foot. See what the beauty of that is. He started from the outside, right? Kind of made the feint because he dipped the shoulder and he froze him. See how he freezes him, and when he freezes him, right? That's when he goes to the inside. See how he froze him?
Beautiful shot.
Hey, Beebs, that shot won't land on Tank because Tank's too short. That won't land.
I mean,
it's only for tall guys.
I don't know about that, bro. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, again, this is why we have the conversations. We don't have to agree, but I don't know about that.
He would have to hunch down for that.
I mean, look where he is. Look where he is. Look where he is when that punch is thrown. That's not close. Look at that. Let's look.
I mean,
Let's look at that.
He landed.
Let's
That's
look.
true. It's true. He did land a punch at.
Look where that is. Look where that is, bro. Look where that is.
Inside.
That's the inside. That's a beautiful.
That's an inside shot, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. Look where that is. He's right up in his grill, bro. He's up in his chest to chest with him, bro. And I'm supposed to believe this. I'm supposed to believe this dude can't fight on the inside. This is a guy the guy he's fighting right now fought for the world title twice, lost by the hair of a rat's ass against Linares, won an Olympic gold medalist, went 12 rounds with Lomachenko and tested him, right? And I'm supposed to believe that Ryan Garcia is fucking Jake Paul? That's fucking Logan Paul? That's KSI? That's what I'm supposed to believe? Luke Campbell was not a top 5 lightweight when he did that? Look at that, man. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. This is a dude, right, that's never been stopped in his career and fought arguably the best fighter in Lomachenko, a pound for pound guy in Lomachenko, and Luke Campbell said out of his own mouth, he said Ryan Garcia is faster than Lomachenko. Right? I don't know, man. To me, that win is better than any of Tank's wins at lightweight. That's my opinion, and I know no one agrees with me. No one wants to agree with me on that except for Paulie Malignaggi. Oh, you agree with me too? Because no one wants to agree with me except for Paulie Malignaggi, man.
What about the Pitbull Cruz fight?
That's a good win for Tank. I'm not shitting on it, but I think Luke Campbell is a better fighter than Pitbull Cruz.
It's hard to quantify.
It's just my opinion.
No one wants to fight Pitbull Cruz, even
Tank. And watch when he lands this shot. I'm gonna go back to this again.
It's a right joint shot. That body
watch
shot.
When he lands this shot. I'm gonna go back to it again. Look how people say, right? Look at his body positioning when he lands this shot. Watch this. See if we can get the slow motion here. What a fucking shot this was.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to believe that this kid is fucking Logan Paul. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Who said that, Beebs?
Look where his head is. You see how his head is off to the side? So you try to watch where his head is. Watch where his head is. See how his head is off center line and his chin is turned away. Now you could argue maybe his chin's not tucked the way you want it to be, but it's off to the side. And if in order to land on that shot, see how his head is off to the side when he lands that shot, and his chin is off to the side. You have to reach to counter that shot. Look where his head is. Watch his head when he throws it. It's off to the side. And he looks away. It's almost like a look away. Penny, you know look aways when you watch basketball, the guy gives a look away pass. That was a look. See how he threw the hook? It was like a look away. It was a look away hook. Come on, man. I'm supposed to believe that this guy is Logan Paul, KSI, or Jake Paul. He's a fucking YouTuber. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
You said that he was a YouTuber.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Floyd Mayweather called him a YouTuber. Tank called him a YouTuber. I'm hearing people on here call him a YouTuber. I'm hearing people say if Tank beats this guy, he gets no credit. He beat a YouTuber. Come on, man.
Ryan's got a decorated amateur career.
He has over 200 amateur fights. He has wins over good guys in the amateurs. He's
Devin Haney 3 times.
That's being disingenuous to claim him to be a YouTuber.
But he does have a lot of YouTube fans, though.
That's a fact.
I mean, let's just look. Let's take a look, man.
Mostly females.
Let's just take a look, right? There's 2,130 registered lightweights in the world, right? Let's just take a look at the ratings here, right? Now you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to fucking believe anything. So I guess they got him ranked right now. He's ranked at super lightweight. He's not ranked at lightweight anymore, right? Because he moved up.
Hey,
Right?
Beebs, my money is on Tank Stipulations Davis. That's hilarious. What have you subscribed?
Yeah. So let's take a look. Let me see if they got him ranked at lightweight. So there's 2,100. Okay, let me see what they have, if they have him ranked at lightweight, because they may not have him ranked at lightweight. Let's take a look. Because he moved up to one, because his last two fights are at 140. So let me see if they took him out. Yeah, they took him out. So he's ranked number 6 at light welterweight in BoxRec, right? So if you think about it, you got 2,000, right? Let's see how many we got here in terms of the rankings, right? So let's take a look. So he's ranked number 6 at 140. He's behind Prograis, Teofimo Lopez, Jose Ramirez, Arnold Barboza Jr., and Gary Antoine Russell. I would argue that I would pick him over Antoine Russell. I would pick him over Barboza Jr. Yeah, I would pick him over Antoine Russell. I pick him over Barboza Jr. Jose Ramirez definitely would be favored. He's got more experience at the division. Teofimo would probably be favored, but I think he has a shot against both those guys. I don't think he beats Prograis. So that's just my assessment. I think Prograis is the best fighter in that division, in my opinion.
What about the great Mario Barrios at 140?
I don't know. So if you're ranked, so if you have 2,100 fighters ranked, you got the guy ranked number 6, right? You got 2,100 fighters. He's among the top 3% of the fight. He's in the 3% top of the fighters. And I'm supposed to believe that he's Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI. I'm not buying that, bro. I'm not buying that, bro. People need to stop respecting fighters, bro. They really do, man. You gotta stop shitting on these guys, bro. I don't like Tank as a person. I respect him as a fighter.
Hey, Beebs, but I don't see Tank Ryan Garcia as an inside fighter, though. I don't think I've seen a fight.
I didn't say he was. My argument is this, Penny.
Yeah.
He can when he needs to.
Okay.
I think he can hold his own. You can disagree with that.
I don't know, Beeb. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, Beebs, because his chin is a little suspect. I don't know if he wants to get in there, and he'd probably want to stay away.
Well,
from left.
Did I just show you a knockout when he knocked out a guy in the inside?
That's true. True.
And look how short that punch was from a tall guy.
But Campbell is not his punching power is not that huge though. I don't know. Luke Campbell doesn't. To me, he's not like a power puncher where, you know what I mean, Beebs? Jacob.
Can you name me one? Can you name me one power puncher Tank fought in Beeb?
I think Pitbull Cruz can punch a little bit.
Well, let's take a look at Pitbull Cruz's record.
I mean, I'm not sure. Pitbull has fought a lot of guys that have been moving up from higher weight classes after the Tank fight.
I like Pitbull Cruz. I don't disrespect fighters, but I call it like I see it. Let's look at Isaac Cruz.
It's a fact. I like Cruz, but his competition hasn't been.
He's a decent puncher. He's got 17 knockouts, but again, who has he knocked out? So he's got a 64. He's got a 63% knockout ratio, which is decent. He knocked out Gamboa. He went the distance with Francisco Vargas. He went the distance with Jose Matias Romero. Or he knocked out Diego Magdalena. He won a majority decision against Thomas Matisse. Again, good. He's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but
Diego Magdalena beat Nonito Donaire.
But he just got knocked out recently. So,
by the way, Rolly doesn't have power. Larry Liston said that Rolly has power. No, he doesn't.
I mean, again, I think Rolly can punch, but can he land? That's the question. And who can he land against elite guys?
I mean, Rolly doesn't have very good delivery systems for his power.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. And who has let's see what, like, after that Tank. Let's take a look at after the Davis fight. What has Cruz done? Because Cruz was offered a fight against Ryan, he turned it down. And then he ended up fighting Gamboa, Eduardo Ramirez. I mean, so, again, we're not here to disrespect Cruz, but what has he done after the Tank fight? And his greatest claim to fame, right,
Losing a fight.
is losing a fight to Tank Davis. So I thought he lost. He won 5 rounds against Davis. Fair enough. Great performance, right? But he lost at the end of the day, right? He lost at the end of the day.
He's waiting for a rematch with Tank.
So why didn't he fight Garcia? Why did he turn that fight down? Why did he turn a fight down with William Zepeda? Right? Turned the fight down with William. He turned the fight down with Shakur Stevenson. So I gotta ask myself a question: why is he turning down fights with 3 guys that are top level guys, in my opinion?
It definitely looks a certain way.
Hey, Beebs, Shakes, did you see that ESPN Sports Center interview with Tank and Ryan? I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't catch that.
That's kind of cool how ESPN did that. I haven't seen boxing on Sports Center like that since Pacquiao Thurman. That's kind of cool.
So let's do the poll. I'm gonna do a poll, and we're gonna see who's gonna win here. I'm gonna start the poll. Who wins, Garcia or Davis?
I got Tank, man. I got Tank by KO, Beebs.
Okay.
Tank Jacob, who you got?
Tank by stoppage.
Yeah, same.
Okay, you're gonna do Tank by KO?
Yeah, KO.
Tank by decision.
But it wouldn't surprise me if Ryan wins, though. If he lasts the distance, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins by decision.
That's what everybody's saying. If Tank don't knock him out, Ryan's going to win by decision. So you guys are banking on a knockout. But whereas Ryan can win by decision or knockout. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it's fair.
So that's the thing, man. Like, the guy has more weight. Guy has more weight to win.
I don't like Ryan's chin, Beebs. It reminds me of Amir Khan, like when he fought.
Well, if that is the case, he's going to get found out tonight.
Yeah. Remember when Khan fought the 2 fights before he fought Britis Prescott? He got knocked out by a nobody from England, right? He did win the fight. In fact, he knocked him out in the next round. Kind of like it reminds me of the Luke Campbell fight with Ryan Garcia. I don't know, man. Like, and then 2 fights later, he fought Britis Prescott and got knocked out. I don't know. But
who wins, Garcia or Isaac Cruz?
That's a tough fight to call, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a tough fight to call.
I think the pressure.
I put a gun to your head. Who do you pick?
Damn,
Cruz. I'm going with Isaac Cruz. I think he'll take it.
I'm going with Garcia.
I think I'd favor Cruz just slightly.
All right.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
I think the pressure would be
yeah.
Someone
wouldn't
like
be able
Ryan,
to take it.
What do you think of this undercard, man? Is everyone buying? Let me ask you this. I'm gonna put everyone on the spot. Are you guys buying this pay-per-view or are you friggin' stealing it? I'm gonna ask you all straight up.
I bought it already.
Who's gonna be the ninja watchers tonight at this pay-per-view?
But this is the first pay-per-view fight I've bought since Pacquiao Thurman. Just to be honest. The rest.
Okay, so this is what I try to tell people. The people who stream fights all the time are always going to stream fights, but you have that middle ground. It's like you have the Democrats, the Republicans, and the independents. And every election, the independents sway one way. This is one of those situations where you got the guys who are 50-50 on they'll buy the pay-per-view for the right fight. Those guys who are in the middle, in my opinion, are going to buy this fight.
Yeah, no, because
The guys are usually well, I like fuck it, I'm going to stream this because it's not worth it. They're not going to have that mentality that this fight is not worth it.
no, because Beebs, I want to reward both Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis for taking on this fight whilst they're in their 20s. Because if Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, if they fight next year, I'm not going to buy that. I'll just go to the bar. I'm not rewarding them. We've been waiting 7 years for that fight. Get out of here.
The casino is showing this fight live. The casino, the Encore Casino, about 15 minutes.
You mean what's it called?
The casino in my city, in my state, it's like 15 minutes from me. It's called the Encore Casino. I was there yesterday with my buddy. They're showing the fight live, so I don't have to pay for it. But I like I like watching this shit at my house, man. I like sitting down. I may do a live cast for this one tonight.
Oh, good on you. Okay, cool.
I may do it if I'm not tired by the time the fight comes off. I may do it because I'm a fucking old bastard. Sometimes I get tired. I don't want to do it. I get lazy.
Beebs, I think it does I think it does 750 Beebs, if not more. Pay-per-view buys in North America.
Imagine if it does 800.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah,
I bought it. I'm buying it on the zone because I'll save the money.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
I bought it for $60 on the zone. I'm not paying 85 if I don't have to.
how much you have to pay with the zone?
60 if you have the subscription.
Oh, okay, that's great.
I buy the subscription for the year, and I'm gonna be watching. So I'm gonna be watching the Joe Cordina fight this afternoon, and then I'm gonna watch this fight late. I mean, I like a lot of these DAZN cards. Do I love them all? No, but overall, I think the cards are good.
It's gonna be a good day of boxing.
I don't think anyone's really sucking this year. I think everyone's doing a decent job. I think all like top rank PBC and DAZN are all doing well. PBC usually is very inconsistent, but this year they've given us decent fights. You have a problem with the PBC this year?
Last year,
last year they were atrocious, but this year you got Zoo Harrison, right? You got but the Matias fight was a good fight. You got the Benavides Plant fight. You're getting this fight. Fondora card wasn't horrible, right? It was decent, right?
Mm.
You're gonna get more fights.
Beast Michael Verrett from ESPN said that to both of those guys who are in their 20s, he asked them whether does this fight change the state of boxing, where now we're getting will we see now Boots versus Virgil Ortiz whilst they're in their 20s? Do you think that will happen?
I'm not sure about that, but I do think we get Spence Crawford this year. I've been a negative Nelly for years. I've been the greatest antagonist in saying fights won't happen. I'm starting to change my mind now because I'm starting to see a lot of money being dumped into this sport right now. Right? Now people can say budgets have been cut, this platform's lost billions, whatever. But I think with Saudi, right? The addition of Saudi, I think they changed the game a little bit.
For sure. I mean, the green at the end of the day is the end all be all. And if you have somebody that's willing to pump an obscene amount of money into the sport, you'll have a lot of fights that look like they couldn't happen.
And when you got Saudi, right, the guy from Skills Challenge, I forget his name, the guy that runs Skills Challenge, you got that guy telling you that he's willing to do shows with any network. So you don't think when Wilder Joshua happens in December, which I think is gonna happen, you don't think Showtime's gonna be involved? You don't think they're gonna sell pay-per-views on Showtime for that fight? That fight may not even be on DAZN. That once again, if Saudi buys that fight, you know what they may do? We want it on Sky. We want it on Sky. We want it on Sky again. So that'd be like a Showtime Sky promotion.
Live TV on live.
I would rather it be on DAZN so I could buy it for $60. I'm rooting for it to be on DAZN, but again, I don't make the news. I report it. It's not what I want. I deal with what's more likely to happen. That's what I think.
Whoever makes the biggest bid will always win. Like, remember when Pacquiao Mayweather happened? MGM made the highest bid. Macau made a bid. I'm guessing one of the Middle East made a bid.
Do
But
you realize
MGM
those
made the highest bid.
for Pacquiao Mayweather, those ringside seats
Oh,
were
lot.
$10,000. They were $10,000, bro.
I think we were more than that.
Now try to put that fight in a UK stadium and ask fans to pay $10,000 for a ringside seat. That would never fucking happen. Never. I heard that the prices for these tickets are off the fucking chain too, man, for this event. I'm curious to see what the gate generates for this fight. And I think they're already sold out.
Yeah, but it's just as a comparison. You can't compare it to the previous fights because MGM Grand only holds 15,000, whereas T-Mobile Arena holds, I think, 20. So there's 5,000 more.
I think MGM. I think it can hold 16. Let me double check. You may be right. Let me double check. MGM
Yeah, that's
Grand
true.
capacity.
True, but Beebs, every time they always broadcast the attendance, it's always around the 15,000 mark. So sometimes the gate of the T-Mobile Arena versus MGM Grand, it's not comparable because there's 5,000 more seats at T-Mobile.
MGM
But
Grand
no one's going to beat that Pacquiao Mayweather gate. I think that gate did 75 million, right?
So they're saying here that the MGM Grand can hold 17,157.
No, that's for a concert. That's for a concert. For boxing, it's about 15,000.
Does the MGM? Let me see.
Because the Pacquiao Mayweather only was
okay. So it's capacity 15,020, permanent seating 17. Seating capacity of 16,800. Yeah. Let's see what the let me see how many people went to Pacquiao Mayweather live attendance.
15,000.
Yeah, I think it was 15,000.
Yeah, 15,200 or something. Canelo
Mayweather.
I've
been to the MGM Grand. I saw Duran versus Pazienza there. There's not a bad seat in that house, bro. I love it.
Yeah, no,
I
there
love
isn't.
that.
I was at the Beebs.
That's my favorite arena.
Beebs, I was at the nosebleeds for for Canelo Mayweather, and yeah, it was pretty. I could see them. Like I could see their eyes.
There's not a bad seat in that house, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Manny Pacquiao was held MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Tickets for the fight went on sale after an agreement had been reached over ticket allocation. Only 500 tickets went on sale to the public, priced at $1,500, $2,500, $3,500, $5,000, and $7,500 for the 16,800 capacity MGM Grand. But I don't think 16,800 people were there. You're right.
No. It's about 15. Canelo Mayweather, when I was there, it was about 15,200 or something like that, and it was sold out. By the way, that 500 tickets, the tickets were sold also on the third market, and some of them were selling for 180,000 from memory. I remember that. There was an ESPN show where one of the tickets was sold for 180,000. So it wasn't a boxing crowd though, Beebs, that Mayweather Pacquiao fight.
No, it wasn't.
Celebrities and like millionaires.
The live gate they're saying that 72,172,000.
Beebs, no one's gonna beat that.
198,005. You know, you can say what you want about Floyd Mayweather, right? I'm not crazy about the guy as a person either, but what he was able to do and generate is beyond astonishing, bro. No one's gonna touch those numbers. And imagine if you like that was back in 2015, right? That was fucking 8 years ago. Imagine with the cost of inflation, what those numbers would be today. Imagine that.
He did well with McGregor too. McGregor fight did really well as well.
I mean, what this guy has been able to do in the sport of boxing will never be duplicated, bro.
He did the Canelo Mayweather fight did about 2.2 million pay-per-view buys.
Look how crazy this is, bro. Mayweather McGregor generated $55,414,865.79 from 13,094 tickets. Can you imagine? And only 137 complimentary tickets were given out. That was far less than it was for Mayweather Pacquiao. Okay. Yeah, so it's astonishing, bro.
I wish, though, Beebs, that he would give Oscar De La Hoya a little bit of credit, because it was after the De La Hoya fight that made Mayweather a superstar. Because before that fight, Mayweather was only doing 300, 350 pay-per-view buys before that.
But I always use this example, bro. Everyone always likes to say, well, what did this guy do what has this guy done with, in the past? What has this guy done in the past? That's irrelevant. When you put two guys together, synergistically, it's not about what the guys have done in the past. It's what happens when you put them together.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, I agree.
That's what happens, bro. It's like you have a pizza, right? D-Style Boxer made this great analogy once. He said you have a pizza. So the A-side fighters like the pizza, right? You can put pepperoni on it, and pepperoni pizza is the highest selling pizza in the world. Or you could put anchovies on it, right? Which is probably the 20th highest. So again, the pizza itself is the A-side without question. But how big of an A-side it is, is determined by what the topping is. It's that simple.
And also, Beebs, Pacquiao did a million pay-per-view buys 5 times himself without Mayweather. So it was like a perfect storm. They should have fought really in 2011. I really thought they should have fought.
Yeah, but if it happened when they wanted it to happen, it wouldn't have been as big monetarily.
I think it would have still done over 2 million, Beebs.
Would it have done 4.6 million?
No.
Okay. Maestro, what's up, brother? Maestro's down there. He's covering the. Shout out to Maestro. He's killing it. He's been killing it down there, man. He's doing all the interviews.
It's early morning here in Vegas. Check it out.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
And Maestro, are you watching Ex Burlesque at the Flamingo? I've seen that show. It's not bad.
No, I am not. I am not. No, it's quite crazy over here. I was at the weigh-in yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw what happened there. And Bernard's presence as part of this team has ruffled some feathers, to say the least.
Let me ask you a question, Maestro.
Yeah.
What set Bernard off from what he's saying is when they had that final press conference, they weren't even planning to let him sit at the table, and he had to ask for a chair. Is that true?
From what I'm understanding, yes. You could see him at the end of the table. I was actually sitting right in front of him. He was quite. But I'm not gonna say he was furious or angry, but he definitely seemed annoyed. If you notice at the final press conference, Oscar spoke, Goosen spoke less, and Bernard didn't really speak at all. Ellerby said what he had to say. But it was a very interesting press conference. The way Oscar's been going about it, it's almost as if he's the one that's about to fight. We spoke about this over the phone, Joe.
Yeah.
He seems fight ready. I mean, his energy is like it used to be before his big fights. And Ryan seems to be quite calm in all of this. I think he's looking pretty confident. I was right up in front of him interviewing him at the end of the press conference. I was right there for the weigh-in yesterday. He looks healthy and in shape. That was kind of my main thing coming out here, whether he be healthy and in shape. But Joe Goosen said it before the weigh-in. He told me that they could have easily made he could have easily made Ryan that being 135 for this fight. And to be quite honest, it looked like that's the truth. He didn't look dry. He didn't look gaunt. He looked healthy. He really looked healthy. And he weighed in well under 136 pounds. So you made an interesting point, Joe. You know, at this point, the rehydration clause doesn't really look like it will have that much of an effect on Ryan Garcia.
It would have a little bit of an effect because he walks around at 150 from memory.
So what does Tank walk around at?
Well, here's the thing about walking around, Penny. Walking around, when people refer to that, they're typically talking about your weight when you're outside of training.
Correct.
Right? Correct. So walking around isn't the weight that you are at on fight night, because on fight night, that's your
rehydrated weight.
Rehydrated weight, but not only that, optimal peak weight, I would call it. That's your weight for your weight for peak performance. Any trainer, any strength and conditioning team is going to try to get you to peak literally at the hour of fight time. So your walking around weight is going to be your weight, 2 weeks after the fight, whatever. When, you're doing your light training, going to the gym, you're riding the exercise bike, you're running, you're, on the elliptical or whatever, but that you're not in the middle of hard training or peaking, if that makes sense.
He says he enters the ring at about 147, 148 normally. So if he's got to be 146 at 11, it's quite conceivable that he'll put the other 2 pounds on after 11 a.m. and he'll be fighting at his normal weight 8 hours later.
IBF rules.
So
I actually interviewed Chris Algieri. It's on Boxing King Media. That's who I'm out here covering the fight for.
I saw it. It was a good interview.
Thank you, Joe. And what he said he'd do is essentially you allow your fighter to, have his normal meal after the weigh-in. You don't restrict his water that night. In the morning, you wake him up as close to the second day weigh-in as possible. Obviously you go to the bathroom, you see how the weight is. And if he's under the weight, then you can have him drink some water. And if he's a little bit over the weight, you have him sweat off the little bit. But, and he's a guy who stated quite clearly that he's against rehydration clauses, but he didn't really sound like he didn't think that it was not a manageable thing. So, it's interesting because I think the one thing that will backfire on Tank, Joe, is that even if he gets this win, regardless of whether people want to acknowledge it or not, I mean, you have a built-in asterisk right there beside that W. You cannot get full credit for a win in the eyes of the boxing public when you've done the fight at a catch weight and with the rehydration clause.
And he hasn't.
One last thing, Penny. For all of the people that say, "Oh, well, Canelo did this." Show me the fight where Canelo insisted on a rehydration clause, and don't bring up Daniel Jacobs because that was not Canelo. That was the IBF.
Yeah, Maestro, and also Tank hasn't earned that respect yet from boxing fans where he can get away with it. Like Canelo, when he had that these catch weights, or even when Pacquiao had a catch weight against Miguel Cotto, or when Mayweather had a catch weight against Juan Manuel Marquez at 144. And at that time, everyone understood that. And that's because they've earned it already. The track record is already there. Whereas here with Tank, he hasn't really earned it yet. He hasn't fought anybody at 135. He has one.
Well, earlier, you're right. I mean, earlier in the chat, I was going through the record at 135. We've got a blown-up Yuriorkis Gamboa, whose best years were at 126 and who had been knocked down multiple times prior to that fight. We have Rolly Romero, who obviously had the first fight canceled, right? Pitbull Cruz replaced him. Pitbull Cruz didn't have any notable wins going into that fight. We then had, following that fight, the Rolly fight, who at the time, we're talking about a 14 fight, pretty much novice at the professional level with a limited amateur background. Following that, we obviously had the Hector Garcia fight. Hector Garcia being a 130 pounder, whose claim to fame, honestly, was beating a Chris Colbert at 130. And now we have Ryan Garcia. So Joe said it. Joe cited Paulie. I've also been saying it. I'm sorry, but Luke Campbell is a better win, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, than any of those fighters at lightweight. Okay? We're talking about the lightweight division here. I think it goes without saying that Tank's best wins were not at lightweight. They were at 130.
That's what I said. I'm not looking at, I mean, you can look at the total body of work, but I'm looking at the last 5 or 6 fights, and I'm looking at the lightweight fights. I'm not looking at, because this fight's at lightweight, and we should assess them at lightweight, not at, Ryan's fought at lightweight his whole career, fought his last 2 fights at 140, right? So, let's keep it in context. Let's make it specific to this fight.
And Beebs, it doesn't make sense because he didn't have a catch weight or rehydration clause against Mario Barrios, and that was at 140, right? So it doesn't make sense. Like, so with Ryan Garcia, why is there a catch weight? Like, dude, it's like you're putting an asterisk. Like, yeah, I actually think that he can beat Ryan Garcia without the catch weights, without the rehydration clause. So it's like, because I'm a Tank Davis fan, because I like him because he goes for the kill. So it's like, dude, it's like, why are you like trying to like ruin your own like legacy per se? Like, just fight him straight up, man. You can beat him anyway.
I think it's psychological. I think he probably. It's interesting the narratives behind this fight, because we're hearing, the winner of this fight is the face of boxing. Tank Davis is the pay-per-view superstar. This is what the A side does. Tank Davis is the A side. So maybe they seemed this is a way of solidifying his status in the sport, because maybe to them, this is what the A side does. Impose restrictions, impose clauses, impose, limitations on things. But I would have preferred to see this fight without any of this stuff, because as a fan of the sport, you want a clean result, and I want Tank to get full credit for this win if he beats Garcia.
Same.
And unfortunately, I don't think he'll get it if he beats Garcia because of all of these conditions. And the other thing too, I've never understood dogging out your opponent, calling him less than what he is before the fight, because then it's like, how do you then reverse that and give yourself full credit for beating him? Like, he should be, the whole team should be saying this guy was an amateur standout, because guess what? He was an amateur standout. Multiple time national champion. I'm a USA boxing coach. And within USA boxing circles, Ryan Garcia was a very respected amateur fighter. To say that somehow he's on line with YouTubers who never boxed amateur, never fought in national tournaments, never won national titles. I mean, okay, you want to do that, but then I would think that you would want to get credit for the win afterwards, no?
Maestro, I think if Ryan wins, right, and even if he wins the rematch too, because there's a rematch clause, if he wins, I think he has a better chance of becoming a face of boxing than Tank, because Ryan Garcia, he already has the casual fans, which is very hard to get for boxers. He's got 2 iconic sponsorships already, Hummer and Gatorade. If he wins the rematch, right? So he wins the first fight, wins the rematch. I wouldn't be surprised if Under Armour gives him an offer, or Nike even. Kind of like when Pacquiao was going through his gauntlet, it was sponsored by Nike, Hewlett Packard, what else? American Airlines, I think. Like you know what I mean? Like he might.
Did he have the Samsung one too?
Yeah, Samsung as well, and Motorola as well in Asia. So he might be. With Tank, no major company will sponsor him because of his history. They're not going to sponsor someone who's got a jacket of history behind them. It's not good. Like, if you're a CEO and if you sign up Tank, dude, you're going to get fired.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
well,
I'm,
there's two sides to that, Penny, because on the other side, I mean, Mike Tyson was the face of boxing and he didn't have a lot of sponsorships. Floyd was the face of boxing. He didn't have a lot of sponsorships. So I think what you're talking about is the corporate face of boxing. I think what they're talking about is just who the fans think about when they think about a fighter, think about who's the biggest star in the sport. But yeah, I take your point.
He might get. Sorry,
I'm
Beebs,
just
you go.
I'm just gonna say it, and this is gonna ruffle a lot of feathers, and it's gonna maybe be controversial to some. I, I think people are tired of these of athletes trying to promote that gangster bullshit, bro. I'm a thug. I'm a gangster. I'm a tough guy. Like I don't buy into all that shit, and I think a lot of people don't buy into that, and I most certainly think corporate sponsors don't buy into that. So
We've
like,
aged. It's
yeah,
aged.
yeah, it's played out, bro. It's fucking
Yeah,
played
in the
out.
90s, it was cool, but not
And
anymore. It's like
then you got the dude Calvin Ford, and I laughed when he did it, but he's in the corner one fight. Give him the wraparound with the shank move, and I'm like, dude, bro, that's like again, man, like enough with the gangster shit, bro. Give him that that friggin' shank move, man, with the shank, that jailhouse shank move, and I'm like, bro, come on, man.
hey, Beeb, since Maestro is in Las Vegas, right? Because I know you don't want to advertise anything,
Whoa,
but
whoa.
this was the ex burlesque at the Flamingo, so it might if so that's me there in the middle.
How tall are you, Penny? How tall are you?
Me, I'm about 5'7", man. I'm short, dude.
Damn, you're like friggin' Costa Zeus height.
5'7", 5'8". But I tell the women I'm 5'9", 5'10". It sounds sexier, but really I'm 5'7", 5'8".
Any little extracurricular activities with those honey dips, or what'd you do?
In
What'd you do?
Vegas,
Yeah, what'd you do,
dude,
man?
dude, I was so tired, dude. Like I couldn't sleep,
Ah,
dude.
come on, man.
Dude, Beebs, it took me like 2 hours to figure out like the windows were electric. I didn't know that. Like in the Luxor, because I stayed at the Luxor, I didn't realize it was electrics. And then when I was sleeping, I closed the blinds, right? But I didn't realize that they had another one, an electric blind to make it really dark. So I couldn't sleep, dude, like for like 2 days. Anyways.
That's crazy.
But then I was offered a few, but they were too expensive, dude. I'm not going to pay friggin' $3,000 for a night. No, I'm not paying that, man.
Nah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that is
What's
crazy.
what's your favorite spot when you go out there, Penny? I love the MGM Grand, man.
Yeah,
I
same.
love it.
It's a bit, but it's too big though, Beebs. Because
I love it.
I stayed there too. It's the walk from where you upstairs to the food court. It is so like it's like
The food is awesome there, though. The food
it's like
is
a
so
3
good.
kilometer walk, Beebs. It's like
The food is so good there, man.
yeah.
But I noticed, like when I go to the Encore, like the casino that's in my state, me and my friend, we say this all the time. When you walk through it, the smell of that place is like it's like such a nice smell to it, man. You can't replicate it in any other casino.
I
They
hear
don't
Planet,
allow smoking, I guess, right?
No smoking, nothing.
That's the thing.
It's beautiful in that place, man.
I hear Planet Hollywood is the best hotel in terms of value because it's right in the middle. It's quite affordable, and the Miracle Mile is just there where you can get cheap food and stuff. That's what I hear. I have never stayed at Planet Hollywood, but I have walked around there in the middle where the Bellagio and the Venetian and all that are.
I'll tell you
we-
this. I'll tell you this. This is what someone told me before, right? It's a strategy to have the casino smell like that because when people smell that smell, it entices them. It releases like dopamine and endorphins, and it entices them to gamble more. It's actually a tactic. That's why they do that. It's funny when someone says that, man, but it's actually a tactic to entice people to gamble more and bet more.
Hey, Beebs, when I was at the Mayweather Canelo fight, so I stayed at the Luxor, right? So I was there on Wednesday. I got there on a Wednesday because I wanted to see the weigh-in on Friday afternoon. But from Wednesday to Thursday, you could see it build up where in the lobby of the MGM Grand, because I was watching David Copperfield and some of the shows there, you could tell that the crowd is getting bigger and bigger. Wednesday night is not bad. Thursday night it's getting big. Friday night there's like enormous amount of people there. It's like, and everyone's talking about the fight. Like even the shows at Fantasy, the guy was saying, "Hey, are you here for the Mayweather Canelo fight?" Blah blah blah. It's like it's such a. It just Beebs. I couldn't sleep, Beebs, for like from Wednesday to Saturday. I couldn't sleep because there was so much excitement in my body. Plus, I was watching a lot of these shows. It's like it's an unbelievable feeling. People should go out and experience it one time, like a big fight like that.
Yeah, yeah. My friend is going to going down there on Sunday for a convention, and he's just gonna miss the fight. But if we planned it better, we both could have went down there and we could have had to spent the weekend there for this fight. Would have been good. I'm so lazy because I like watching the fights at home and shit. I gotta get out there. I gotta get out there again though. It's been so long, man. I gotta get out there.
Yeah, I like watching it too, in my home. Because
I just like watching it at my house. You know, I like kind of like just chilling.
Yeah, because also when I get nervous, I always want to go to the toilet and pee for some reason. I don't know why. And I can't do that like if I'm in the arena. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not like, I mean, I love like going to the Encore here and walking around and just kind of seeing all the honey dips and everything and just walking around. But I don't like big crowds sometimes, like, because when you watch the fight there, it's like standing room only because they got all the screens, like they got the sports book, they got all the screens, and it's kind of cool watching all the sports go on. But when the fight is on, all the TVs got the fight on, right?
Yeah.
And my friend actually went to see Wilder Fury 3 there, and it was crazy. He said, "It's crazy. Everyone was going nuts, cheering and stuff." But
Beebs, also here, California is building a train station from, I think it's LA to Las Vegas. It's about time, man. America's out of like, they gotta build some trains in between the cities, dude.
I went to see Europe. Yeah, I haven't been to San Diego in a long time. I kind of like it a little bit, but I don't think I can go back to California now, man. It's just too different there now, man. It's too crazy. It's just too crazy, man. It's too crazy.
Like dangerous?
Nah, it's just too. It's too woke, man. It's too woke. Too many social justice warriors down there, snowflakes, and I'm just gonna be honest, man. A lot of people don't like my takes, man. They just don't like my takes.
What about Kennedy running for president? I like what he's had to say so far. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I like Kennedy. But overall, man, a lot of the way that state is run right now, everyone's leaving Penny because it's too expensive. Yeah. The taxes. Everyone's going to Texas. They're going to Florida.
Yeah. True.
My favorite place is Vegas. Thing about me is I've lived here all my life, so I'm just like kind of like a creature of habit. So I'm so used to living here. That's the big.
It's too cold for you, man. You're in Massachusetts, right?
Dude, it's April 22nd right now, right? These people want to talk about global warming, right? It's 46 degrees in the spring. This fucking weather is fucking ridiculous, man. Fucking ridiculous, man.
It was snowing in Denver when I landed there on my way over to Vegas from New York.
We don't even fucking have spring anymore in this. Like, I don't know what happened, man. We used to have spring. We don't even have it anymore, man.
Climate change, man. Climate change.
Yeah. I don't know, but the Earth is supposed to be getting warmer, but it's colder here, you know. And the summer's not even that bad like they used to be either, man. Every now and then you have a hot day, but for the most part, it's like 80. Every now and then you get a 90. Vegas is the best though. You walk around in that dry heat. It's fucking beautiful, man.
But sometimes maybe it's too hot in Vegas. When I was there for Mayweather Canelo, my God, I couldn't even get out. It's like Asian heat, you know, where when you go outside, you're tired already because of the humidity. So you always want to stay indoors.
It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy.
Also, the Vegas hotels, they got to get rid of that where they charge people parking. Dude, you can't do that. Like, because when I was there for Mayweather Canelo, I hired a car so that I can drive, because the taxi is too expensive, especially when you get to around Planet Hollywood, around that Flamingo Road or Boulevard or whatever they call it. It takes you like half an hour just to get out of there, right? So
Yeah.
you end up paying enormous amount of money. So you might as well just hire a car. It's actually cheaper. But now, for me, if I wanted to, if I go to Vegas now, what's the point of hiring a car? I have to pay parking fees. Like they charge.
If you're gonna rent a car in Vegas, Penny, stay at the Tropicana. It's right across the street from the MGM Grand, and they don't charge for parking.
I'm gonna get Maestro upset a little bit here, but I'm not crazy about New York either, man. When I go there, I can only spend like 2 or 3 days there, and then I get sick of it, man. Because it's
You know why? That's because people don't come to the Bronx when they visit New York. I barely go to Manhattan. The last time I went to Manhattan,
that's where I always go when I go down there.
Everybody that complains about New York only goes to Manhattan. So unless you come to the Bronx or go out to Queens, I don't want to hear it because you haven't really seen the real city.
Hey, Maestro, I was there for the Martinez Miguel Cotto fight, and I was there in Manhattan for a week. I loved it, dude. I think it's the best. It's the best.
Manhattan is nice, but Manhattan is not New York City. Manhattan is a part of New York City. Manhattan's population, believe it or not, doubles during the workday. All right, because of all the people that commute there. I mean, the biggest borough in the city by size and by population, it's not even close, is Queens. Okay, and you know, people go out to Queens for the tennis tournament every year. Obviously, U.S. Open. People go out to Queens when they fly in to LaGuardia or fly into JFK. But Queens actually has a lot of nice areas. It's very culturally, ethnically diverse. But I got to rep my borough too, the Bronx. Like we have a lot. We have the Botanical Gardens, the zoo. We got a nice beach over there. We got the most parks in the city, and the biggest parks in the city are all in the Bronx. You know, Yankee Stadium. So people have to come to the Bronx before they start saying, "Oh, well, I don't like New York City." But I understand what you're saying, Joe.
Okay.
But Maestro, I've never been in a city where, maybe Paris is probably another one, but New York or Manhattan, every single day that I was there for a week, I was there for 7 days. I always had something to do. I was never bored, right? To me, it's probably the best as a tourist. I'm talking about. It's probably the best city I've ever visited, and I've visited.
Have you ever been to Boston? Have you ever been to Boston?
I did. I was in Boston.
You like New York better than Boston?
You can't, bro, Joe. With all due respect, you can't compare Boston to New York. Boston is a small city.
We got everything out here. We got
Boston's a small city.
We got Revere Beach. We got friggin' Winthrop Beach. We got everything out here, man.
I was only in Boston, Beebs, because I went there to watch Boston Red Sox versus Colorado Rockies.
What's the point of going to the beach when you can't even go into the water? Like I've been to Martha's Vineyard. I've been to Martha's Vineyard, bro. The water's too cold in Massachusetts. It's too cold.
Come on, man.
It's too cold. I can barely go into the water in New York City, and we got way more beaches than you. I go to Virginia Beach. I drive south to Virginia Beach.
Go to Beacon Hill, man. You go to Quincy Market, man. You go for a nice horse and buggy. Can you go for horse and buggy rides in New York, man? Can't do that out
bro. What? You didn't hear about them that they were trying to ban them from Central Park? It's well known that they've got horse and carriage. Come on, bro.
Come on, man. You can't do that.
Your man Liam Neeson was trying to defend the horse and buggy guys, trying to keep the industry moving because they want to replace them with robot horse and buggy.
You go to the North End. You can't get a better piece of pizza.
Animal abuse. It's animal abuse.
You can't get a better piece of pizza than the North End here. Come on, man. You know that.
Maybe to raise
better
a family.
than a New York slice.
Maybe to raise a family, Boston is better. But as a tourist, New York beats Boston. Like it's not even a comparison. It's
cut it out.
New York's got so many tourist attractions. Boston, you can probably count them in one hand. Whereas with New York, they got so many. Like, and also
you got the Boston Common, right? You got Newbury Street. You got downtown Boston.
Okay, well, Joe, since you love Boston so much, Joe, you should move to Boston. How about we start with that?
Dude, I'm literally 3 minutes away from Boston. What are you talking about?
Yeah, notice the word away from Boston. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm in New York City.
Google Revere. We are part of the greater Boston area.
Right, just like White Plains, New York and Connecticut are part of the greater New York area, and Jersey's part of the greater New York area. I get it. Come on, bro. We're talking about New York City here, man.
Dude,
Let's stop the cap.
I could literally jump in my car right now and be in Boston in 8 minutes. Are you really gonna nitpick that? 8 minutes from the city. 8 minutes.
Okay. What's Penny showing?
Watch this. Okay. Watch what I do. I'm gonna put it in my map thing.
Papa Chubby, he knows what time it is because he's from Toronto, where I used to live, and he knows all about the greater metro areas versus the original 6, right, Papa Chubby?
Yeah, and I used to live really just south of you, bro. Like you're up on Eglinton, and I was for a long time like Bloor Lansdowne and Lansdowne DuPont. So really, like you just travel.
So you were by the old strip club areas.
Oh, I mean, look,
was that the House of Lancaster?
Yes, bro. You know that's further west, but like Bloor Lansdowne. Definitely, when I was there, terrible state. It was in a terrible state. Now it's been like gentrified, right? Like everywhere. So it's much nicer now, but it was greasy. Yes. Yeah.
8 minutes.
Yeah, all those New England states, like it's pretty awesome. You can travel through so many states up in that part of the United States, right? Like I'm in Canada, and obviously the provinces up here are massive. Like you're wanting to fly if you can, but it's cool that you can just travel through so many states down there, right? And they all have a different flavor.
Papa Chubby, the only thing that I don't like about New York is the people. They're very rude, like the rudest people.
What?
Also,
no.
The subway in New York, it stinks and it's super hot. They need to put some air conditioning in the subway.
There's also the rats and the cockroaches.
Hold on though. You talk about the subway is one thing, but the people. Look, before I had ever been, I had the impression of that everyone's rude and only concerned with themselves. I was surprised at how many people are just willing to strike up a conversation. Like you're in a store, you're on the bus, people just talk to each other.
I think they're trying to scam you, man.
What city has the best honey dips? I'm being asked right now. I'm going to say Vegas.
Prague, Czech Republic. They got the best.
Look, guys, if you like exotic international flavor, you have to come to Toronto for the woman, because everything's like it's all people mixing. Beautiful, beautiful woman, man.
They definitely have nice women in Toronto. I'm not gonna lie, but Rio de Janeiro is it's hard to argue against Rio, bro. Especially with that beach, the long beach they got over there. Havana, Cuba is another one.
Maestro.
Yo.
So this 11 a.m. weigh-in, is that going to be open to the public, or is that going to be a private weigh-in today?
That's gonna be a private thing. I haven't received any information about that. The only thing that I know that's open to the media this morning is actually an Adrian Broner press conference that's taking place.
What's he doing? What's he doing today now?
He's announcing a fight at a media breakfast. Don King is hosting it. They like to do stuff when there's a big fight. Like Devin Haney held an open workout on what day was that? On Thursday. Here, and Adrian Broner's doing something today. I don't know. I heard some
against
people.
Red Catch, Maestro? Red Catch?
No, apparently he's fighting some guy from the military. I don't even remember his name. That's how low level an opponent he is. No disrespect, but I mean, with Broner, we are talking about a former world champion.
I saw the footage of a little bit of footage of Haney, and he looked good. He looked sharp.
Yeah, he's looking really good. Yeah, he's looking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to beat Lomachenko.
Paulie Malignaggi is picking Lomachenko, but I think that's because he don't like Haney, bro.
What does he dislike? Well, I don't understand why he disliked Haney. I mean, he picked Gambosis both times.
I mean, he just don't like Haney, bro. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
people
Like,
they're irrational with their dislike of Haney, man. They're irrational. You know, like the Linares fight, what went down in the Linares fight, I constantly see people posting comments about that with just really crappy takes about what happened, right? Yeah, man, people they find him boring is what I usually see, which I get it in terms of he's not knocking guys out, but for me, I love watching him work, man. I love watching him work.
Papa Chubby, I was at the Haney Kambosos fight, the first one. It was boring. Trust me, it was boring. If you saw what people were doing there, everyone was on their phones after about the 5th round. But the rematch was exciting. I wasn't there, but I did see it at the pub. That was exciting. I got to admit, the rematch.
where do you live right now in Australia?
New Zealand.
New Zealand? How much do the pay-per-views cost in New Zealand? If you don't mind me asking.
$32. I think it's I can't remember. I bought that fight a while ago because I wanted to reward them.
How come it's 55 in Australia and it's only 32 in New Zealand?
I think in Australia it's like 29 or something. 29.
But US dollars conversion.
I don't know. I don't know what the conversion.
I thought it was 55. Okay. How many pay-per-view buys do you think like this fight will do in New Zealand? I can't believe you guys are able to buy it.
Man. No, Australia and New Zealand, it's not really a boxing country per se.
50,000?
No, not that much. I don't think so. Nah.
30?
That's a bit high. Yeah, about 30.
30K?
Yeah.
So how much is it? How much is it now? How much is it cost?
It's around 32, I think. I can't remember.
$32, so 20,000. So it generates like $640,000 over there. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider that they would have several countries like that they can all, it all adds up pretty good, I'm sure, man.
So
Mexico.
Papa Chubby, who do you like tonight?
I do think I want Garcia to win, but I do believe Tank will win.
Okay.
And so as far as the weight and the stipulations about the weight, my biggest concern for Garcia is his mental, his focus, his I do believe that he's going to have not a perfect fight, but damn close to it. He can't make mistakes that he made against Campbell in huge amounts. Improved to Fortuna, but still made mistakes. I think Tank will capitalize, man. And I don't know if he'll KO him, but I could see it happening. Now, I want Garcia to prove us wrong and rise to the occasion. But man, he's up against it with this with the weight thing. Like, look, it's hard for a guy just to maintain weight to go into a fight. Like, not trying to go up and down, like just staying at one weight and arriving to the ring, feeling good, feeling your best. It's hard, man. And people talking about rehydration, I don't think they fully understand. It's not just about filling your body up with as much crap as you can to bloat back up to a weight. Like, you have to feel good doing it. The boxer has to feel right, has to, in the mind and the body. And so, yeah, there's a certain time, 72 hours to rehydrate is ideal and all these different things. But at the end of the day, the boxer's got to feel right. That's my biggest concern for Ryan.
Okay.
Hey, Centurion's got a good comment here. This could be like a Danny Garcia versus Amir Khan fight. Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good fight, though, man. I'm expecting a good ass fight, and I'm excited. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
So
how much is the pay-per-view in Ontario, Papa Chubby Chubby?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's the same when you guys price it in the States. Here we pay the same. We pay the same like amount. I don't mean there's no conversion. Like $85, we pay 85 Canadian. They don't convert it.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So
the North American price is usually similar.
Yep. They just set it across the board.
And Mexico, generally, what they have is they have that rights fee that I think Azteca TV pays, and they generally don't have to do pay-per-view. They don't have pay-per-views over there, from what I understand.
I've heard that, man. I thought it was just like, so it's not just Mexican fighters, like just all the big premier fights, they don't have to pay.
From what I've seen, yeah, they just pay a rights fee.
True, but the reason that they kind of get away with that, I'm not saying that it justifies the entire cost, but way more people in Mexico watch boxing than watch it in Canada or the United States. So they put that shit on network television. They have ads playing throughout the whole fight. And between every round. So they recoup a lot of money that way. These fights literally get seen by tens of millions of people in Mexico.
They pay a heavy rights fee for these fights, and like Maestro said, they get it back through sponsors and advertisement.
Same in Philippines, it's for free too, with a lot of.
I don't speak Spanish, but even not understanding, I would rather hear that Spanish commentary than the English guys and understanding what they say. You ever see like a Spanish stream? It's lit, man. It's great.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand it either, but it makes me excited.
Yeah, they're having fun, right? So it's infectious.
With Guerrero, Morales, and that guy.
Sergio Mora is the worst commentator I've ever heard in my life. He is so bad.
I don't know if this is a rabbit hole. I don't know if we want to go down, man. Like, there's a few of them that I can't listen to anymore. I can turn it off.
I can't stand Sergio Mora.
Also, speaking of commentators, why is Brian Campbell and his mate, why are they covering the Showtime weigh-in? Because if you ever watch their YouTube channel, it's all MMA, right? So why are they then?
They work for Showtime, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is that in their own YouTube channel, it's all MMA mostly. It's like
they're trying to get a crossover audience. You know what's hilarious, Penny? My wife kept telling me how much she liked listening to them and Steven Jackson. The last time there was a pay-per-view when they were doing the YouTube stuff. I mean, in my head, I was like disagreeing with her, but she was enjoying it. I don't like to be negative when people are enjoying stuff, but I think that there's a casual market out there that kind of stuff appeals to. My wife is definitely part of that market. She watches boxing, but she watches it like as a casual. Her mom and her dad as well, and she likes it. So I think that's what they're going for with those guys.
Rachel Nichols was there too, actually. If you
and there seems to be no DAZN people at all involved in this fight.
Oh no, there's one. Kate Abdo was there.
Did she work for DAZN, or is she like? I've seen her work for Fox. I've seen her work for.
Akin Barak are out here, and Ade's arriving today.
Are they actually? Like, what I'm saying is, like, who's actually working the live broadcast? And
the whole thing is being controlled by Showtime.
Even on DAZN, when they're showing the weigh-in and all these press conferences, there's no DAZN people like involved in it at all. You know what I mean?
No, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
At least with Wilder Fury, you had kind of a mix of a commentary team. Here, it's just all Showtime.
Yeah.
Maestro? Sorry, bro. Just quickly, I came late, so you were at the weigh-in, Maestro?
Yeah, I was at the weigh-in and I was at the press conference.
Nice.
Big crowd.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, the press conference, funny enough, there were more people out in the square in front of T-Mobile for the Canelo Bivol one that I went to than were there for this. So that's interesting. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but when people say the face of boxing, this and that, I don't think either of these two guys are going to be the face of boxing. There were at least two, I would even go as far as say 3 times as many people for the Canelo Bivol weigh-in in terms of being out in the T-Mobile, in front of the T-Mobile. You couldn't walk anywhere when Bivol and Canelo weighed in. There were just so many people all over the place.
Let's be honest, like Bivol, they're Canelo's the decidingly huge draw.
Canelo is a superstar, bro. Like, I can't even believe people try to discredit his reach, man. I was talking to Samson Lukowitz, and I called him out on that. Like, trying to say that like David Benavidez is the new sheriff in town. I was like, bro, you can't say that, bro.
But let's be fair to Ryan Garcia, Beebs. Like, when Canelo was the face of boxing, he was probably, what, 29, 30 years old? Right?
I just know a lot of people. I know a lot of, like, everybody knows who Canelo Alvarez here that I talk to.
Yeah, but it took a while. It wasn't immediate where Canelo became the face of boxing because Mayweather was still there, right? It took him to maybe 29, 30 years old.
Yeah, but Penny, with all due respect, Penny, Ryan Garcia is not bigger now than Canelo was when he fought Floyd.
Yeah,
I don't think he is.
Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close.
No. So let's not say that Canelo only became like a superstar when he like was 29, 30. He was big, you know, well before then. But and again, this isn't about Ryan or about Tank. These are two exceptional fighters who deserve all credit, especially for making this fight happen. This is about the people promoting this fight, specifically on the Tank side, saying that, you know, the winner of this is going to be the face of boxing. I just don't agree with that. Not when Canelo's still in the sport.
You got to give Canelo credit too. You know, his fight with Floyd, that was the third highest grossing fight of all time.
I was
number
there.
3. It's number 3. You know?
Yeah, 2.2 million pay-per-view buys.
Yes.
Around that figure.
Yes.
I really like the idea of the potential for a trilogy with these two guys.
Ooh,
you know?
Yes.
Right? Like, whatever happened to the trilogy? Remember trilogies? So, do you guys think that with what's gone on with the stipulations, that's ruined the potential for a trilogy? Because at first I was feeling that way, and it's a one-way rematch, so it's going to depend on that.
So the rematch has the same catch weight rehydration clause too?
I've read different things. I've read that Ryan can negotiate as an A side for the rematch. I've read that it's already in print what the stipulations for it would be. I have no idea really.
But what's going to happen when Tank goes to court May 6th and he gets sentenced to that 6 months in jail?
You know what's going to happen? Jailhouse fight. How great would a jailhouse fight be?
That's what I've been saying.
For real.
And Tank shouldn't be wearing those girly earrings too, because those guys in jail, they will eat him up in jail there, man.
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna.
Bro, if he's wearing those on the fight night, then you know what's going down.
Man, yeah, he won't be able to take a shower like in jail there. So
shit.
Like,
shit.
Not a good place to be.
Yeah. But he'll probably like. Is he going to those rich people jail or is he going to a real jail?
I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't think he's going to go to like a friggin' prison per se. He'll probably go to a jail, which isn't as bad as a prison.
With his status, I'm assuming they would see that he doesn't get mixed with like hardcore killers and whatnot, right?
Yeah, like rapists and murderers. I don't think he'll be with them.
A lot of felonies, though, he's being charged with, man.
He'll be with the Epsteins and those guys. You know those guys who like the Madoffs and
the Island.
Epstein was in the federal jail in Lower Manhattan. That was hardcore. Where Epstein was.
Where he
supposedly killed himself. That place he was at is no joke. Trust me.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of those city lockups are tough with people. Like even where I am, the local city lockup, once, twice a year, guys are getting killed in it. You know, it's terrible conditions. Not enough guards. Yeah, not good.
Let's see what we got for the poll. 47% are picking Tank by KO.
Yeah.
We got 2% by. See, here it is. Look at this. Tank by decision is 2%.
So
25% have Garcia by decision and 26% have Garcia by knockout. So I think I've swayed a lot of people's opinion here in the chat. So because we're winning, Garcia is winning this 51-49. It's close. It's close here.
I put a small bet today on Garcia by decision plus 850. I was like,
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
I got plus 800. That's great. That's a great
What does
line.
that mean? What does that mean? What does that
That
mean?
means
plus
if you put $100 on Garcia, you
Yep.
get 850 back plus your
Wow.
100.
Holy
Yeah.
moly, that's a good return. That's almost 100%.
That's almost
Like
like
when-
one of
when-
your, that's like one of your Wall Street investments, Penny.
Nah, my investment's gone
What
down.
about what about the over, Joe? What's the over saying?
I think it's 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
You saying bet the? That's what I thought it was. You saying bet the over, right?
No, I'm betting. I bet Garcia to win outright, and I bet him to win by decision. I put 2 bets on Garcia. I
Bibbs,
took
I'm
the bet.
waiting for Richard Dwyer's. I'm sorry, I'm waiting for Richard Dwyer's pick before I make an
Guys,
official.
His straddle will be Garcia with the win and Tank by knockout. That's his classic straddle.
Yeah.
That's what he does, man.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one, Beebs. In light of there was some good opportunities for making money because so much is possible with this fight, right? So it's like when the odds are that high, the payout's that high, and the probability, it's hard not to take a small stab at it.
If Thor were to fight Superman, right? This is what Dwyer would say. I got Thor for the win, straddled by Superman by KO. That's what he would do. Every pick is he bets one guy to, like, usually he picks the favorite to win, and then he straddles it with the underdog by
Bibbs,
KO.
he went to a fight like 7 years ago, right? And everyone like went up to him and.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's believe.
That's awesome.
I haven't watched him in a while because for some reason I don't get his notifications. But I used to watch him all the time. I used to just love the way he would just like break shit, like his voice and everything.
Yeah,
and he's like, and he just, I don't know. He's just funny, man. I find him entertaining. Don't get me wrong, but it's just he just makes the same picks for every fight. Like
he even watches boxing at a Hooters restaurant.
yeah, like he's a lawyer, but like he doesn't like buy pay-per-views. He does the videos like on a phone. He's in like a friggin' closet somewhere, and I'm like, dude, man, like what's going on, bro?
He's a true OG, man.
Supposedly he used to work with Andre Ward at one point. He was like a lawyer for Andre Ward. Yeah.
He's got a new documentary coming out, by the way, Andre Ward.
Yeah, on Showtime. That's gonna be great, man. He did a great interview with Brian Campbell the other day, and
done by LeBron James.
Is that the room? Is that the room, Maestro?
Maestro is
It was the floor. It was the floor of the room. I put the camera on for a second by accident.
Show me a picture of the room service. What kind of food you got out there?
I actually ordered Uber Eats over here. That's the cheapest way to get room service. These hotels violate, bro.
Wow.
Maestro, I saw the vials of cocaine and the empty wine bottles.
You might have seen the water bottle on the floor over here. I gotta stay hydrated.
Gotta clean that place up, Maestro, please.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty nice.
That's a nice room, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Where are you staying? Are you at the Grand or are you at the Venetian? Where you at?
No, I got a good deal at the Trump International. And one of the reasons I came to the Trump International too is because I heard that this is where Team Tank stays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of the fighters don't stay at the fight hotel, the official one where the media go, which is the MGM Grand. So this is a little further north on the Strip.
Have you seen Ryan walking around a lot? Because they showed footage of him and Jamal playing craps and stuff.
No, it's interesting because Jamal Charlo is really going for Ryan Garcia in this one.
Did he put up 10 grand on Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, he's putting his money where his mouth is too. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So no, I haven't seen many of the fighters outside of the press events. I've seen fighters that aren't participating in the fight, like Andre Berto was on the floor of the MGM Grand yesterday.
Is Andre Ward there?
Andre Ward, yes, he was in the media center yesterday. I interviewed Booker T, funny enough. He was in the media center yesterday.
Do you
Hey,
think
Maestro,
do you think you'll be able to get an interview with Andre Ward, or is it hard to kind of track him down?
Andre doesn't really like giving interviews. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but at the ESPN fights, when the media, YouTube media, like me and others, shout out to my guys from Fight Hub, Fight Hype, and all the other outlets.
I love Fight Hub.
You know, yeah, Tim Bradley is the one who always gives his time after the fights.
Okay.
Whenever there's an ESPN card, you'll see Tim Bradley, you know, on all of the outlets giving like an extended interview. Andre, he goes to wherever he's going.
Hey, Maestro, whenever there's a big fight, right, on Saturday night, usually they have like a small fight on Friday night. Is there one there?
No, there weren't any fights here last night. Not that I'm aware of.
Interesting. It's changed, man. Boxing's changed now.
Like I said, the only event boxing wise that were planned this week were the Devin Haney Open workout and this Adrian Broner breakfast / media event.
Are you going to that? Are you going to the Adrian Broner thing? You're trying to get some interviews with Adrian Broner?
I'm thinking of it. Yeah, I'm thinking of it. I'm really, really on a mission after this weekend to really drop a lot of pounds. Like, I got to get back into shape for summer. I need to start avoiding these events where there's like free food.
I was up to 215, right?
Yeah.
Today I got on a scale, 203 and a half, bro. I'll be 200 probably next week, man. I mean, I'm coming back with a vengeance, man.
Yeah, I've got to do the same thing. I'm thinking about
look at that.
starting a full 7-day fast on maybe Tuesday. I have a dinner plan with my wife.
I got people coming from my neck here on YouTube, man. I got to get back in shape, man. Start dropping a Lebanese hammer over the top, man.
What are you doing, Beebs? To like, what do you weightlift or what do you do?
I weightlift and I do a shit ton of walking, bro. I walk like 6 miles every day, man. I got a treadmill in my house, and I like to go to the gym too. But I'm there's not a day that goes by that I don't walk. I do my strength training like maybe 5 days a week, sometimes 6 if I feel it. But I do my walking every day, man. There's no excuse that I can't do my walking. I got a treadmill, right in my house. So
walking will give you the heart of, when I say that, I mean like literally physically of an athlete. Like your heart will pump great. You go to a doctor, they'll swear you run marathons just from walking, right?
Yeah.
It's underrated for sure.
Yeah. I got you.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it though for like an hour at least.
I got Maestro into walking, man. I got Maestro into walking. He was doing the other stuff, but he's starting to walk now, man.
Well, the problem I've had is that I broke my ankle, a little over 2 months ago, and I fucking ballooned, bro, in weight because I wasn't walking.
It's easy to get up there, man. It's easy to get up there.
I love to eat, so
Hey, Maestro, speaking of walking, right? When the first time I was in Vegas, I stayed at Luxor, and I thought, hey, there's Mandalay Bay there. It looks pretty close.
No.
3 hours later, I got there. It's so far. It's like your eyes makes like an illusion out of you. So then I just started catching the tram from the Mandalay Bay to Luxor.
No, it's because the buildings are so big over here.
Yeah, but it looks like you can walk. I was thinking, oh, that's not that far. It takes like 2 hours to get there.
They used to have these like little mini go-kart cars you could rent on the strip, and you were allowed to bring them into any of the hotels for valet, and they would accept them. But they stopped doing that a while ago. But those things were awesome because the properties are gigantic.
Maestro, do they have those? I don't know what they call. They're like I see them in the city a lot, where you rent them and it's electric. I think they're called.
They're scooters. No, they don't have those scooters here, and they don't have. In New York City, we got something called City Bike that I used to be a member of because I get a discount as a teacher. I used to pay $80 a year for it, and it's like you get to use a bike for 30 minutes at a time. They work on docking stations, and you got to return them. So but there's nothing like that in Vegas.
Look how nice that looks, man. See that?
Look, it looks like win.
It looks because it's a win. It's a win property, man. Look how
Hey,
nice
Maestro.
Yeah,
Look how nice
bro. Check it out. Put my camera on.
Yeah, I'll
bro.
put yours on. That looks identical to what Maestro
That's
just showed.
hilarious.
Put it on full screen.
That's hilarious. Literally the same
That's it
shot.
right there. That's it right there. What you just put up.
It's the same property. It's the same property, man.
Hey,
So-
Maestro, what are you seeing around town promotionally for the fight? Like, are you seeing like a lot of electronic billboards with their faces on them? Are the buildings like does the MGM nothing like that?
Nah, the only place that has stuff about the fight is the MGM Grand and the T-Mobile. I haven't seen anything about it anywhere else.
Got it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. I can't wait for this fight, man. I'm excited. I haven't been excited for a fight.
Before we close it out, right? Let's do the picks, man, because I know Maestro got to get back to what he's doing, and I got to get my day started because we've been on for about 2 hours right now. I don't think we're gonna go 7 hours like we did last time, Penny, because we got too much.
6:41 a.m. over here. I'm just drinking my coffee, and
I gotta do videos for you, man, so you can say 7 hours. Like, what's his name? Checkmate. That's it. Your friend Checkmate.
A lot of people diss Checkmate, man, and I don't believe a goddamn word the guy says, but he is entertaining, man. I'll give.
I love his videos. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I do too. They're a bit one-sided though. They're too one-sided.
He's like the Fox News / CNN of YouTube, man.
Yeah, you gotta.
Let me bang out this super chat here. Ryan got a jab and not commit and fall into Tank's traps like Raleigh did. Ryan has the speed to outpoint Tank. Just got to punish Tank whenever he tries to close the distance, which is what he can do with his speed. That's what he will do, in my opinion. So let's get
Shout out to Carl Weathers.
Let's get the official picks. I'm going Ryan Garcia, unanimous decision. Little Penny, what do you got?
Tank by KO late, like 10th round, 11th round.
Puppet Chubby, who do you got?
Tank by KO.
Okay. Maestro, who do you got?
Man, I'd be lying if I told you that I actually was confident anyway. What I am going to say is I think it's going to go over to 7.5, and it might be a controversial decision.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the thing with controversial decisions. You really don't know.
Gun to your head.
If I strongly believed one way or another, I would make a bold pick, but I honestly do not feel strongly one way or another about this fight. I mean, I just don't.
It's so close.
A lot of unknowns. Unknown.
It's so close in the chat. We got here's the interesting thing. Everyone that picked Tank, 47% of the people out of the 50%, that picked Tank, right? 47% of those people picked him by knockout. Only 3% are picking him by decision. And then we got 51% picking Garcia. 25% are saying by decision, and 26% are saying by knockout. How interesting is that, bro?
Yeah, that's but this is why this is such a great fight, though, because it's the issue really is neither of these guys have been tested at 135 pounds. We don't know. We don't have a lot of data to go off of. I mean, we're talking about the Luke Campbell fight, right? And then on the Tank side, we're talking about stuff he did in different weight classes. It's very difficult for me to really have a strong stance one way or another. If gun to head, like you were saying though earlier, Joe, gun to head, I would say Ryan by decision. That's what my gut is telling me.
Now that just reinforces my bet right now. If I got him, I got Robbie, I got D-Style, I got all the heavy hitters going on my side.
Our panel is split as much as anything else. We're split.
Yes.
Action Jackson said Oscar already has one judge paid. LOL, another Canelo GGG draw. Imagine if this motherfucking fight goes to a draw, man.
A draw?
Yeah, there's no way, bro.
You got a
No.
rematch.
There's no way.
Hey, Beebs, before you go, Beebs, I just wanted to show you your favorite athlete, Beebs. See that
Who
there?
is it?
Oops.
Who is it?
Your favorite athlete.
Tyson Fury?
No.
Sugar,
there.
Sugar Ray Leonard?
Can you see that?
Can you
Is
put it full
No.
screen, Beeb? I can't see.
How do I put it full screen?
It's Bruce Lee anyway, Beebs.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
awesome.
Come on, man.
Bruce Lee, the goat.
No, come on, bro. Stop.
Beebs. I know you've said a few things
Who
about
wins? Who wins? Who wins in
One
a
of the
fight?
greatest fighters in the history of fighting, Bruce Lee, pound for pound.
Beebs.
Who wins?
Beebs.
Who wins?
Legend.
Who wins in a fight? Bruce Lee or Goku?
I mean,
Who wins in a
Bruce
fight?
Lee was
Who wins in
taking
a fight?
Bruce
The
Lee was
one-punch
taking
man?
on guys 15 at a time, bro. 15 at a time. I mean, they were going at him. They were going at him one at a time, though. But I mean, it was 15 guys.
Bruce Lee beat a guy that had a cheese grater on his hand.
He beat
Gotta
Chuck
give him
Norris
credit
too,
for that.
at the Coliseum.
Chuck Norris would destroy him in a real fight. Come on.
Yo, Chuck Norris released an ad on YouTube for, I think he's like doing an energy drink or something. Yo, he was still sparring in his 80s. The guy's a legend.
Chuck Norris is a monster, bro. He could.
I grew up on Walker, Texas Ranger, yo, Saturday nights. What you guys know about that, Walker, Texas Ranger?
Maestro, that movie where he went to Vietnam and he got prisoner of war. What's that movie? Missing in Action.
Oh yeah. Could we quickly talk about Creed 3 though? Because honestly, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my whole life.
I couldn't stand that movie, bro. I don't like it, bro. I'm sorry.
It was so bad.
I'm sorry.
It's funny because I was talking to Ryan O'Hara yesterday, Joe, and he's telling me like he kind of liked it. I'm like, what?
No, I mean, come on, man.
Oh no, it wasn't Ryan that said that. It was somebody else. But I was with Ryan when it was so bad, that movie.
Bad movie, bro.
Cinderella Man's the best for me. I like that. I always watch that movie for some reason. Cinderella Man with James J. Bradley.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Shout out to Action Jackson with other super chases. Quick question: do you think the rehydration clause will play a big role against Ryan? No, I do not. I don't think so. I don't know what you guys think.
Good movie too, by the way. Action Jackson back in the 80s with Carl Weathers. That's a great movie.
Anyone think the rehydration clause is going to play a factor in this fight?
A little bit.
I said it earlier when I first came on, but I am concerned about Ryan's focus and how stamina will be mentally because of having to, put so much into the rehydrating and the clauses that have been added. I do think it could be a factor.
One quick point about this, and I don't think a lot of people are looking at it. Tank's never had to do these things either. So this is like uncharted territory for Tank as well. How's he going to react to it? Right?
Didn't he hold an IBF title before though, Joe? Or wasn't it? Because I know the IBF imposed that. I don't know if they still do, but there wasn't a time.
Let's see if he's held that title before. He may have had the IBF title. I'm not sure if he did. But
the IBF.
I don't know if when he held it they did that. So let me.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Let me see if he.
I don't even know if the IBF still has that rule. And honestly, it was a dumb rule because it was 10 pounds across all weight classes. It wasn't like proportional, which never made sense to me. It's like, how is it fair that a guy at 126 has a 10-pound rehydration and the guy at 168 and the guy at 175 and the guy at 200 pounds? It's like absurd.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Let me see.
Tank is a small lightweight though. Like I don't know if the rehydration clause.
Yeah, the IBF super featherweight title in 2017. WBA super featherweight title twice between 2018 and 2021, and the WBA. So he had it in 2017. So let's Google when did that IBF rule take place? When did the IBF?
Anyways, to answer your question about the rehydration, I think it was Action Jackson. The only person that's really going to know for sure is Ryan Garcia. He's going to know how he feels. None of us are going to be able to know that. Chris Algieri, who I did an interview yesterday, you guys could check it out on Boxing King Media. He doesn't like them at all. He says it's dangerous for the fighters, specifically on the brain, because as you guys know, the brain also has a lot of fluid, and when you dehydrate, it affects your fluid in your brain as well. But only Ryan's gonna know that, Action Jackson, and
Listen to this one.
but it will have an asterisk though if Tank wins. I'm gonna say that now, whether people like it or not.
Listen to this one. IBF. This is from August 21st, 2017. IBF abolishes second weigh-in for unification bouts.
Interesting.
Just
That
unification bouts?
That was in 2017.
Right, but he's never been a unified titleist, so that doesn't matter.
Let's see, because it says he had the IBF Super title in 2017, and then he had the WBA Super Featherweight title twice between 2018 and 2021. So, yeah, he was unified.
That was the regular title though, Joe. That wasn't the Super title. That was the Super Featherweight. That's the distinction.
At Super Featherweight, he did have the Super title, but at lightweight, he had the regular title. So
which doesn't count.
The lightweight title was kind of the one that's secondary. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he ever had to do the second day weigh-in with the IBF. He may have, he may not have. I'm not sure. So you could be right. I don't want to speak out.
Hey, Maestro, is Chris Algieri, is he out from his parents' house? Like, I think he was living in their basement, like from memory.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'd assume he is. I mean, he makes a good living. I mean, I assume he's working for ProBox. He's working for DAZN.
Yeah, he does things for Top Rank sometimes too.
He's also got a consulting business where he does his nutrition work.
Guy's got a master's
Algieri, he has he's part of the podcast with Canobio.
Yes, I watched that too.
Yeah, and it's a good one. The two of them are good together. I like it.
Yes, I agree. They are.
I liked it with Paulie too on ProBox.
Yes,
for sure. I was very disappointed when Showtime got rid of Paulie, man. If I'm being honest, I think he's a great commentator, man.
He's awesome. He's amazing for sure.
He put his foot in his mouth though with the whole politics and racial stuff.
He didn't want to apologize.
You work for corporate America. You gotta move a certain way. It's like how Paul Pierce lost his job on ESPN because there's that video released of him with like strippers and smoking weed and whatever. I mean, obviously it's got nothing to do with his ability to be a professional broadcaster, but it's not the image that the corporate media outlets want their guys to have.
But Showtime, but the president of Showtime actually wanted him to stay, but only if Paulie would apologize for his sort of like racial remarks, right? And he didn't want to do that because he was too proud of himself, and that's when he got fired.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, when you work for like a company like that, as big as Showtime, dude, you gotta follow company rules, man. If you don't, if you work for a big company like that, everyone is replaceable. Everyone, including the CEO, right? So you gotta follow the rules, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up, man. Got some stuff to do. Maybe we'll be back tonight, man, for this fight. Maybe I'll do a live cast. I'm debating on whether I want to. Let's see how I feel. I'm trying to take some caffeine pills or something so I can stay up. All right, guys. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day and enjoy the fights tonight. Oh, one more super chat before we shoot out. I feel Devin Haney beats them all. Creed 3. Wish Creed would have faced near death in the end, making fans think he died like Apollo Creed died. For a better story. I don't know. That's a little bit dark, man.
I mean, my main issue was Jose Benavidez Jr. being the heavyweight champion. That's ridiculous.
That was whack.
That was absurd. He doesn't even look like a heavyweight. Then
no disrespect. I mean,
it's like they literally played Fight Night for the fight scenes. I mean, and then you had the antagonist getting a title shot after 18 years of prison and with 0 pro fights. I mean, the story was ridiculous and everything about that movie was terrible. I'm sorry.
That would be like me playing Nancy Kerrigan in the Tonya Harding story. It just doesn't fit, man. Just doesn't fit. right, guys.
Rocky 3 was the best for me out of the Rocky.
Yeah, by far. I said that several times. Rocky 3 is by far and away the best.
Rocky 4 was not bad either.
I didn't like
when
it.
it was in Russia.
I didn't like it. You're not going to go to Russia on Christmas Day and fight in a non-unificated bout, man. Come on, man. Some of these storylines are just too whack, man.
I will break you.
All right, guys, we can get out of here now. Peace out.
Thanks, Beebs.
No problem.